Do-do-do. What's going on, motherfuckers?
It's
Yo,
Kickstand
yo.
it's Kickstand and Biker Mike. And
A
today,
long time friend.
yes, finally we have the guy who wrote our intro music, the one that you hear
Yeah.
twice an episode,
Yes.
on with us.
Yeah. It's
Again, we so appreciate that because you have no obligation to do that for us. It was
Oh man, it was
a
cool.
great gift.
Yeah, it was awesome. Mike hit me up. I was like, yeah.
yeah, when
Oh, yeah, I
well
want to do that.
well, I knew you were doing a lot of music stuff there in the Newfoundland.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I know he's doing some producing. I know he plays guitar. I know he knows people. We should totally get him to do our music for us or see if he will, how much it'll
Hell
cost,
yeah.
whatever. And yeah, just the time and the effort that you put in. I know we all had a little bit of time during the COVID bullshit, but yeah, it was really great to hit you up and be like, hey, could you do it? Anyways, then it turned out fucking amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it was super fun, man. I was like, I was like, fuck, I got to think about all these conversations I had with Mike now. It's like, okay. And then I was listening, and then I was like,
Channel it
oh,
all
well,
into your riff.
yeah. And then I was like, well, it's not just Mike either. It's like, so I was listening to a couple podcasts, like, okay, man, like biking and shit, like they're drinking, like, what can I add to this?
Yeah. All right. Devin had a theory that you cracked multiple beers to try and get that
To
exact
find the perfect
beer
one.
sound.
No, dude. Yeah, no, I didn't even try that. I wasn't even fucking with it. I like went online. I was like, beer samples, let's go. Then I heard that one. I was like, there it is. And then I found one with like the pouring sound. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll add that right after.
In my mind, I pictured you going, nope, that one wasn't right.
Just wasting beers.
Nope, it's not right.
Yeah,
Has to be beer too, high quality. You can hear the difference between cheap beer and expensive beer.
That's right. Micro beer.
Yeah, Budweiser's got more.
Sounds really poor. I don't like.
Oh, that might actually suit us very well then.
Fucking trash.
I think it's a rice base is Budweiser.
I don't care. I just hate it.
Not a fan. Hey, so do you want to plug any of your shit, kind of the stuff you're doing right now? Because I know you produce music and all that stuff, but what are you doing right now?
Shit, man, right now I'm just working on like my own EP right now. I want to do like the full album, but I don't know how it's all coming. I kind of get like, it's like I got like ADD or something. I'm like all over the place sometimes.
Yeah.
Like
well, you were
I got like all the metal shit going. What's that?
You were rocking with the band for a little while there, or what was going on there?
When I was out in John, I was in a band for a bit, but since I've been home here in Newfoundland, I haven't done any band shit.
Okay. What was the release that came out a little while ago? Like I remember you like having videos of you doing solos and stuff, and Travis like showed us some of the music. I think Mike even played it a little bit on the podcast.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah. That was with the Glacia stuff.
Yeah.
Glacia. Okay, yeah. So it's different than Glacia, what you're doing now?
Yeah. So what I'm doing right now is just like my own shit. Like so it's under the alias of like Kirk the Riffer.
Okay.
Yeah. And I got like one EP out with it already.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm slowly building that. But yeah, the Glacia stuff, there's another album coming out.
Okay. So is that an outfit that you are like that you're a part of, like a band member, or do you just kind of like do studio work for them, or what's the deal?
I do, yeah. So it's kind of like well, I'm fucking remote from it. I think they're in Long Island. I want to say Long Island. I could be wrong.
Long Island, where it's I don't know where the fuck
that's
that
New
is.
York.
Is that
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that Long Island.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's where they're based out of. So I've been just doing like lead work remotely.
Oh.
And he just like, like I'm not on every song, but on the last album I was on, I think like 9 of the 12 songs.
Well, that's awesome.
Yes. And this one I think 7 or 8. It's a full length album.
Yeah, I listened to a bit of their stuff and I'm like, oh, that's good. That's really good. And Travis was like, yeah, that's Kirk playing. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. He like hit me up one day. I was like doing I put like one of those solo videos up and he's like, man, you play with those guys?
That's funny.
Like, yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know you were listening to that shit. That's cool.
Right on. So a gig like that, like, is that something where like you get paid for your input or
Yeah.
anything like that? Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that is like legit studio work.
Yeah, for real, man. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's the dream stuff. Where you're like, yeah, I can be an introvert and make money. Fuck yeah.
Don't have to worry about any of that playing live crap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't have
Yeah.
to deal with
The
fans and
headache.
people adoring. I do none of that bullshit.
I had to sign a dude's ass once. So I was like, you know
Are you
what?
serious?
Dead serious. I did it too, because how many times you gonna do that in your life?
At least
Sign a
twice.
dude's ass.
At least. Yet. I don't know. We're not big
How
enough
close
there.
to the butthole did you get the pen tip?
Just the dot at the end of your name. You're
Yeah.
just like aiming.
Yeah. Smell the marker afterwards. Yeah.
So much iron. You gotta slow down, man.
Oh my gosh. I'd be like, one condition, you get it tattooed.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. There's a picture somewhere. No, that
That's
was a good time.
hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you? I've heard of bands signing girls' chests, and I'm like, I gotta do it.
Hey,
Oh, darn.
hey, it's a new era, man.
But now it's like, dude,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
right
it
up my
really is
asshole.
a new era, man.
I want you
Yeah.
to sign around the asshole.
Yeah.
Hope you've been working on your signature.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, shred it.
I remember when I was fighting, they were like, "Yeah, you got to work on your autograph," and I'm like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, this is an actual event. You're being paid. You better have an autograph down set." I'm like, "Oh, so my signature wasn't quick. It was very like tedious and annoying and stupid.
Yeah.
So I hadn't perfected my autograph, and now I'm like, oh, okay. So I actually had to go out of my way to make an autograph.
Yeah. You got
Yeah.
it now though, right?
Oh yeah, I got it down pat.
Yeah.
I need to
Yeah.
because we're so famous over here with
So
them.
famous.
Yeah. Man, I never even thought about that shit like when rolling and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
And I was thinking about events that we should do. I'm like, yeah, we should do a fundraiser, like blue collar philosophers for climate change or for global warming.
Against global warming.
No, for global warming.
For global warming,
yeah,
yeah.
not against it. We're 100% for. We're bikers.
We're against
We
climate.
hate the climate.
We hate
We
the
want it to be
winter.
warmer. I don't care what it costs in Florida. I don't care how many more hurricanes. I want it to be warmer in Fort St. John.
Yeah.
If we could start a charity
A charity.
for that would be fantabulous.
Like Trudeau would be dumb enough that he'd be like, "Oh yeah, they're against global warming. That's good."
No. For
Let's
global
let's
warming.
give them millions.
In fact, give me money so I never have to turn my motorcycle off, and I can get a bigger motorcycle with a bigger motor to help contribute. It's all about contributing.
Like there's
Yeah.
there's biker charities out there, like little clubs called like Bikers Against Child Abuse and things like that.
Right,
bikers,
yeah.
We could be bikers
For-
against climate.
Against climate, just all of it.
Bikers for climate change.
Start a Patreon or something.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, we got to start making money off this bullshit.
Yeah. Somebody is.
Yeah,
know?
that's the thing.
Fuck, dude. Somebody's out there raking it in. Buying
The
a
thing
house
is-
right now.
It's circular for most podcasters. It's circular. They're like, oh, we need to create programs to get sponsorship so that we can create programs and so that they can get sponsorship. Like, oh, you push us, we push you, we push. Like, it just kind of goes that direction where it made it very hard for the little guys like us to get sponsorship. It's like, why would we go you? There's people paying tons on advertising and doing all that, and what you guys are just two guys sitting in your pothole. This is our pothole. That's what we named it.
That's actually, I like that. It's better than the ditch, you
The
know?
Yeah, we got one guy we know. He'll podcast from his bathtub. He literally does it. He's like, I'm gonna do a podcast, and he's just sitting in his tub. You can hear the
You
bubbles.
can hear the water sloshing.
Really? You hear like that air coming out of the shampoo bottle.
Yeah. And he's like, this is where I'm comfortable and I got time. He cracks a beer and just hangs out in his bathtub and
So just starts talking about old stories.
Damn.
Oh,
So he's obviously just by himself.
oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He started after we did just because he's
His
like,
buddy's
hey,
just sitting on the toilet.
The toilet, yeah. Just
this is my co-host, Duddy.
Yeah.
hearing ass noises.
Ah! Oh.
So give a second, guys. Bearing
Oh
down.
my god. Yeah. Close the curtain. Fuck.
Air freshener going off every 15 minutes. Like, This one's brought to us by Taco Bell. Fuck, not again.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I don't know if most people know this, but your influence on the Blue Collar Philosophers podcast goes deeper than just doing our music.
Yes.
Yeah, like you may even inadvertently be the cause of whatever havoc we've wrought.
So this is all your fault.
Yeah.
Fuck,
So yeah,
boys.
send your hate mail to Kirk the Riffer Wells, please. None of it for us.
Or money, in which case he has to share.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn, I didn't know that though. That's cool.
Oh yeah, no, it was a huge because we were always having these conversations. Back when we worked at the same place. I don't want to give them any shout outs because fuck those guys.
Yeah, man.
Well, let's just say generic oil company number 7.
Yeah.
Multi-billion-dollar conglomerate hellhole. Anyways, we were both working at the same place and we were having these conversations. We were just already doing it.
Yeah, dude.
And I don't know. I don't even remember what we talked about. That's the thing. Do you remember a single thing we actually talked about?
Life, man.
Oh yeah, life.
Fucking
God,
life.
Not God.
Yeah.
Just
we would talk about God. We
did. And then at the time you were an atheist. So I'm like, oh, okay. All right, cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it's always interesting to me when I meet like I don't know, religious people, I guess, you know. Because it just seems like, and it's never like, what the fuck do you mean you don't believe in something or whatever? Yeah. It's like, oh, really? Cool. Why? You just go down the rabbit hole, man, for like 3 hours. Yeah, it's like,
I already told you I'm atheist. Isn't that enough?
Yeah. It's like, fuck, we haven't done nothing for 3 hours.
Still getting paid.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Multi-billion-dollar oil company that wouldn't even notice it.
They'd never know
until they did, and then
until they listen to this.
Fuck them. They can call us out all they want.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But yeah, we had many conversations. Not 3 hours. Most a half hour.
Yeah.
You're trying to cover your ass now. I see.
I'm trying to think. I'm like, no, there's no way. I'm like, there might have been a way.
There was a time, I think.
There was a time.
Yeah. Not every time, but a time.
There was a time.
I'm pretty sure you're the one that planted the bug in Mike's head to get this going, and he just always held on to that. Hey, you guys should do a podcast thing.
Hell
he
yeah,
kept telling me, Devin, come on, we got to do it.
Yeah.
And we always just put it off because we had too much other stuff to do.
Oh, when we were involved with the motorcycle club and everything else we had going on, we're like, dude,
just don't have enough time.
Not enough time, and then the topics that we've hit on since starting it. No, we could never do that in the club. Like half the shit we talk about, there's no way we could do that and be part of that an organization like that. And nothing against them, but at the same time, we're not very good representatives.
That's fair though.
Yeah, so it was fun.
Yeah, but that was always sitting in him. And the second that the opportunity came up, it was like, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah. Because like Mike always said, like, I got a buddy, man. He would love to do this too. But it's like trying to find a time, you know. I was like, fuck, that sucks, man. Like, I hope you guys can do it one day. And then when you wrote me about the intro music, I was like, fuck yeah.
Right on. Yeah, so you're officially part of the whole lore of how this got going.
Awesome.
Yeah, we Devin loves, I don't know if you listened to the one before last when he's like, I want to do the outro, and he's like, Kirk the motherfucking Wells.
So good, man. My favorite one, I think, is when you were like blue collar falafel or some shit. I was like, the fuck? He like couldn't say philosopher. He just like stumbled. I was like, God damn, it's good.
It's an annoying word. It really is. I almost regret naming it that just because I'm like,
too many syllables. And what I've learned is that there's a whole bunch of other jackoffs on YouTube and Spotify that have podcasts called The Blue Collar Philosopher.
Oh yeah,
oh shit!
Just a
singular blue collar philosopher.
But it's there's like 2-minute videos, and
there's like 7 of them, and they're all like right-wing conspiracy theorists that like kind of get on there. It's like guys on their CB radio be like, to anybody out there listening, the Jews are after us. They're coming for your guns and your women.
Well, that's kind of besides the point. That's my side project, and I would appreciate.
Haven't you seen the Denver airport?
Hey, that's a legit thing.
Oh
That's
my
pretty
God.
fucked up. I don't know if you've
Dude,
seen
it's
some of it. It is fucked up.
it's wild shit, man.
Yeah, it is so strange.
Okay, I don't actually know what.
No,
No.
No,
they
that's
have
a
so
rabbit hole,
much
buddy.
post-apocalyptic artwork. The location is fucked up. The just everything about
The
that place.
Denver airport.
The Denver, Colorado airport.
What happened?
Nothing. They just have a lot of really
No, there's
dark...
a lot of shit that happened.
There's a lot. Like, oh, really? I don't know
they
about
went
stuff.
like billions of dollars over budget and shit.
Oh yeah.
And then they're like, oh well, we'll just bury this and never look at it again.
I see. So there's like they planned a whole bunch of stuff, stopped it halfway through, and kind of ignored it existed, and now there's like these sections of the airport that have been taken over by the underbelly of the.
But even the artwork, artwork is all fucked up.
Yeah, it was fucking like it was like Nazi Germany gas mask, like beheading children.
Yeah,
shit. Like it was weird.
Yeah, you just keep talking about it. I'm gonna find some pictures.
Yeah, dude, get pictures. And there's like an aerial view of the airstrip, and it's a swastika.
What?
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
convenient.
That's right.
I get it. Like, I don't know if I
would. Apparently they had like a completely fine airport, and then somebody was just like, "Yeah, no, we're gonna build another one out in buttfuck nowhere," and they did, and went over budget, buried it, and now there's like an airport there. But
oh yeah, and it's very attempting to be very modern looking in a lot of ways, but it almost excessively. They're like, we need to show you where this money went. Like how shitty this.
And there's like an Illuminati fucking capsule there, like don't open till like 2073 or some shit.
All right, this is legit artwork.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole, dude.
If anyone wants to check it out, Denver, Colorado airport art, and you can see some of the shit that's on there. It's straight apocalyptic and shit. It's hard to see. I know it's an iPhone and Google on that is annoying now.
Wow, yeah, there's like a penguin in a prism.
Oh, it's
there's
weird
a
shit.
forest burning in the background.
And I'm like, why?
There's a buffalo head mounted on a cedar tree.
I looked up the artist, and he like does all kinds of weird art like that.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
But like, the more I got into it, like people were like saying like, not people, the artist was saying like, oh, he thought it would draw like attention to the airport.
Yeah, it did.
To make it more touristy, yeah.
Isn't it weird? It's not normal.
Yeah.
This is such a
odd... it is not normal.
And that's just
an
one
odd style. Like this is like a oh crap, your phone just went backwards. But like I'm looking at it, and it reminds me a lot of Orthodox iconography or medieval Catholic painting style.
Yeah.
But,
totally.
But perverted in an odd way that it's hard to put your finger on. But it's like reverse iconography.
Shit,
it's weird.
My phone's having a hard time downloading shit. It knows that we're talking about it.
Yeah,
they always know.
Not publicly.
Oh man, there's an interesting passage in the third book in C.S. Lewis's Space Trilogy. I don't know if you've ever read that, but it's
no, I haven't.
It's like, I mean, like this is C.S. Lewis. He was an author from like the 30s to the early 60s. And he tried his hand in the 40s at science fiction. So he wrote these 3 books of science fiction that are maybe roughly allegories. But anyway, in the third one, they had this room that they put this guy in because they were trying to brainwash him into becoming kind of like a mindless materialistic pawn for them to use, like for kind of inviting the end of the world sort of thing. And one of the things they wanted to do was destroy his sense of morality. So one of the steps in the process of breaking him down gradually over the course of several weeks was locking him in a room filled with religious iconography. And at first he just thought, oh, there's the Sistine Chapel mural above. Okay, over there I see the Last Supper table. Until he started realizing that there was subtle things off with each one of them. Like the table would be tilted 3 degrees more to the left than it otherwise would be, like just askew, or there'd be roaches in a dark corner over there, or somebody's eyes would be just black instead of like having their pupils. And he realized that like what they were trying to do was create in him a comfortability with slightly obscured truth. And just slowly warp him to the point where he could just say, that is fine, even though I know it's slightly wrong. And if you can accept that and live with it comfortably instead of being unsettled, you can move on to the next stage. But that's a step in losing your morals.
Oh, damn.
It's an incremental change. Yeah,
And
incremental
that,
moral
looking at that,
shift.
it reminded me exactly of that.
Yeah. How often is that used? Right?
Yeah.
Huge.
Right? Everything has it. It's everywhere where they're like, oh, if we could just do slight incremental changes with the world.
But it's not even like the slightly incremental changes until you go, but it's just accepting that even a little is okay.
Yeah.
And then you've already begun a process, or you've already ascended the whole ground.
Yeah. And it's weird, like funny, because like growing up and shit, like I was always like asking questions and stuff to like my parents or whatever, and like you'd always get this answer like, "Oh, that's just how it is." What? No. It's I'm like 9. I'm like, no, dude. Like, there's a reason for this. What the fuck is it? Like,
it's because they don't know. They have to say
no, and they don't. But they do.
They have no idea. They do it.
Know? Yeah.
What did I see? I saw something recently. It said tradition is peer pressure from the past.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
so
I saw that. I'm like,
for real, dude.
So my friend in the Lower Mainland, the retired Orthodox bishop, he was telling me a story once when we were having beer and sandwiches. But he said, like, he told me this little parable. He's like, there was these people from the old country, from I think it's Romania. Romania. It's like they she was cooking corn, and she always cut the ends off the corn, and then would cook it. And she's just teaching her daughter, no, you can't just cook corn, you have to cut the ends off to cook the corn. Well, why? And she's like, I don't know, that's the way my mom taught me. And she's like, okay. And so like this little girl started asking her living relatives like why we do this, until she got to her great grandma. Her great grandma was like, because I only had a small pan and the corn didn't fit in the pot unless I cut the ends off. And he was like, that's the nature of tradition. Yeah. Like, it may be a fine reason why something started, but unless you teach the reason, you don't know how to go. Like, if that reason is no longer there, you don't have to do it like that.
Yeah, man.
But you 100%. Don't know that unless you're taught what the reason was.
Yeah, and there's so many things not communicated with you when you're a child either.
Well, I think a big problem with it is they don't understand it themselves. They were raised that
your mom
way.
Doesn't understand, your grandma doesn't understand, because they didn't think to ask great grandma.
Yeah. Great grandma did it this way.
3 generations later, I'm just like, why? This makes no sense. Oh, it's just goes how it is.
Yeah. Your pan wasn't big enough.
See, so
so good though.
So you've always had a bit of a rebellious streak in that way of just not accepting social norms. You were like, no, I need to know more than just what we're doing, but why we're doing it. Because not having that would make it really difficult to get through day to day, especially if your parents are trying to tell you to do something. But as a parent, sometimes kids just need to do as they're told. Because you've told them why.
I get it now, man.
Oh, you get it now, but at the time, you're like, I don't have time to explain this to you. Trust me. If you want to know later, I'll tell you again if it's really that important. Because you've told them 10 times and they didn't listen.
10 times, man. Yeah.
So I didn't get it.
Then the beatings start.
Yeah.
I didn't get it for years.
Just checking.
I know this is bad, but has anybody ever thought that about your kid? Like, oh, you little motherfucker,
I fucking have. I ain't even gonna lie, dude.
If you haven't thought
I know you're only 6 months old, but I'm ready to smack you.
You're not spending enough time with your kids. If you haven't thought that, you haven't spent enough time with them. You got to spend more time with your kids, and you'll get there.
You'll get there. We promise.
Yep. Yeah. You haven't. I feel bad for you, honestly.
Yeah. Shit.
Bad for your kids.
Never aim their butthole at your face. You don't know if it's you don't know what's gonna happen.
So yeah, when they're that age. Oh, it's danger zone. It's not safe. Yeah. So you got one kid still, right? Or you got another one?
Yeah, I have 2 biological, and my fiance has 3.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. How are the kids? I
kids are
haven't.
good, man. Kids are crazy. Kids are wild, fast.
They're growing up. It's been a while.
Yeah, man.
When was the last? When did you move? 2 years ago?
Yeah, no, man. I got here in 2019.
Oh, it's been 3 years.
Yeah, dude.
Oh
Yeah.
man, my COVID's thrown me way off. I'm like
I know, man. Same. Like I thought about it the other day. Somebody said something, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell?"
I know it just turned
Fuck,
into
I've
like a
been here a
big
long
old
time.
time warp. You're like, what did we
dude.
even do before COVID happened?
Right?
You wouldn't believe
That's like a whole other era. Although life didn't change much for me, it's just whole society is just like
Yeah.
that's the benchmark now for it's like a
man.
pre-COVID
But
and
like
post-COVID era.
nothing changed for me, like in a day-to-day thing. Like, because I'm pretty like I keep to myself. I hang out in the studio all the fucking time. That nothing changed for me other than going to the grocery store and having to wait in line. I was like, fuck, I gotta figure out the good times to go now.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with people. I skipped it. I skipped COVID.
How?
Just pretend it didn't happen.
By
Just Austin Powers it. You're like, fucking unthaw me when you're done.
Yeah, no, I skipped the whole mask thing. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
But
Like,
I did not get appreciated. There were people that did not appreciate my uh my betterness. It was like how much better I was than they were. And
Of course, they didn't appreciate that. I mean, who? The jealousy. The jealousy.
What do you mean you're just walking around with your face all nude, you son of a bitch?
Yeah.
I got called.
Is that going to be a thing now? Nude face.
Nude face.
Yeah, it's coming, dude. It's fucking coming.
Anyways, I got yelled at in the store one time by just some guy in the aisle. It was like, "You're ruining everything. This is all your fault."
Of course you did.
We lived in such a bubble here.
Oh yeah.
Like as much as like there was the odd person that was like that would be angry about it, or like like a lot of the companies kind of like they were strong armed into company policies and stuff like that. But like where we lived, like people in general were like, yeah, no, we're not buying this.
Yeah.
Or we're just not doing what you're gonna ask because we live in a place where there's like 20,000 people tops.
Complying reluctantly.
Oh,
it's just a whole
like...
different. It was a whole different vibe than anywhere else in the province.
Yeah.
So much so that the government even like just decided to like impose specific restrictions on the
on
Peace
our region.
Really?
Oh yes.
Damn.
They hunkered down and they came down hard.
Oh yeah.
On specifically the Peace about a year and a half
ago. It still didn't work.
Yeah, it still didn't work.
Yeah, no,
they eventually just gave up on it. But
yeah, and now everyone's facing charges.
It's to the point where people like down south were like, it's because of Fort St. John that COVID's still a thing.
Really? Fuck, man.
They come here
like,
to vacation.
You think the whole world is fucked because like
yeah, dude.
20,000 people that live in bumfuck nowhere won't wear masks?
Yeah, dude. I had a guy, he was like, fucking Trudeau is starting this COVID bullshit. I was like, oh man.
He is not smart enough to start anything.
That's attributing way too much talent and credit to him.
He could start a dumpster fire with a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah, I just laugh my ass.
I know.
Like, this is
you know this language.
This.
Even saying this right now, calling him that stupid, would be considered like against the law to a degree. Yeah, hate speech, or just they're like, yeah, you're not allowed to oppose the government. They're trying to push in laws right now to compress speech that goes against the government policies and stuff like that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Really? It's bad, man.
That so reminds me of China with the whole like Winnie the Pooh thing. Like, oh, what was it? Winnie the Pooh looks like our leader. This is hilarious. And he's like, Winnie the Pooh is banned.
Oh, no way. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
There's even a whole episode of South Park about that.
Oh, sick. I did not know that. That's wild.
Like, oh, Trudeau, he's doing it.
Yeah.
We're trying to anyway.
It wasn't hate speech.
The fact that we hate him is besides the point.
But I'm a Christian. I love everybody. Yeah. Just like strongly.
Just like strongly.
That's right.
Right.
That's my loophole.
Yeah.
If I get to the pearly gates, I'll be like, no, nay. I didn't hate my heart. I dislike strongly in my heart.
Just like strongly, man.
Letter of the law.
Yeah.
Sorry, St. Peter.
Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Peace out. Kickstands out, bitch.
Yeah.
Trying to run through the gate and the gate's still closed. It's like, fuck.
Locked out.
McFall Trudeau, go straight to hell. Straight to hell.
It will be straight to jail. They're working on it. Sons of bitch. So, you live in a different part of the world than we do. You guys were a lot more shut down. And
man, we're on an island, man. We got
literally on the rock. You finish your brother. He's finishing our good bourbon.
Yeah, Mike bought this bottle of bourbon for our episode with Steve and Nigel. He went and bought it, not looking at the price tag.
No, there was no price tag.
Yeah.
And then once getting the price, not putting it back.
It's like twice the price of our normal bottle.
I'm here now.
Far.
Yeah, I'm not going back.
Hundy for a bottle of bourbon. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, that's expensive for American whiskey.
It's good though.
America.
Yeah. Anyways, as I was saying, you're in the middle of Newfoundland, and
Hey, bye.
You don't even have a whole lot of that Newfie accent. There is a bit, I catch it, but it's not.
Yeah,
I heard it the second that you started talking.
Yeah, I got it back, man.
Yeah, my little sister moved to Newfoundland with her husband about 8 years ago, but I hear the accent on her now.
Oh,
yeah,
like there's no Newfie blood in her at all, but yeah, she picked it up.
Yeah, worse than her husband. Worse than her husband. Her husband, he comes back for like 15 minutes. He's out. He's like, all right, I'm back to normal. I mean,
yeah, dude. Yeah, that's me too. Like, I get in the conversation with like you guys, and it's like gone.
Yeah, and then
I go out by the door. I'm like,
by the boys.
Fuck. It's like, and it's weird because like, I'll like say shit, and like, my speech is all fucked up because I'm not used to saying stuff like so quick or whatever, like rolling shit off the tongue.
Yeah.
So it's just like what the fuck is coming out? Okay, let me try this again.
All right, so I got to ask an honest thing because you're a Newfie. Is that a derogatory term?
If it is, fuck them.
Okay, I'm just checking if it's a derogatory term. Like, even if it was, I was gonna say fuck you.
Yeah, man.
So you're from the Newfoundland, and we did this thing, and I know it's a very touristy thing to do with the whole getting screeched in. What is a Newfie's view on the screeching in? Are you guys like, it's funny, it's hilarious, but you know, it's for tourists and stuff like that? And I get it because I was a tourist. I can't not say I'm not because
it's like one of those things. It's just like a fun thing to do. Like, you know, like
you guys don't.
You're a fucking mainlander. Fucking, you gotta go get screeched in, man. If you want to be a real Newfie.
So you're not you're not laughing at the person. You're just like, no, we want to make you feel included. So here's a great way to do it.
Oh, dude, yeah, man. It's the most like. People in Newfoundland, man, they'll welcome you with open arms, dude.
I know, like, incredibly friendly.
Yeah,
dude, it's wild, man.
We were there for like a week, and the guys were like, "So when you moving? When are you moving here?" And they're just like open arms. Oh, you can move here. You have money, right?
Yeah.
You have a proper
bring a lot
job.
with you because it's hard to get here.
Yeah. Oh, I love my brothers in Newfoundland.
Oh yeah,
it's a good time, man. It's good.
And they had motorcycles.
Where I'm at, it's pretty isolated. Like, I don't even know how many people are here. Like,
so whereabouts do you live on the rock?
I'm in Isle of Mort, Newfoundland, or like Ilamore or whatever it's called.
Oh, Isle of Mort.
Like, yeah, and like translate to like Islands of Death or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like that. That's
metal
French.
as fuck.
That is metal as fuck.
That's probably why you moved there.
That would make a great album title.
That's what I'm doing.
Right? Yeah. I was like gonna call the studio. I was like fucking Dead Island Studio or something, and I was like, it's pretty metal. Like, I kind of want to appeal to more than just metal.
You need to broaden the base a little bit.
Yeah. It's like, okay, well, I guess we can go there and record death metal. There's like 2 people on the fucking island.
The 2 people that like death metal in Newfoundland.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh damn, we're all in a band together. Okay, well,
guess we're in a band. We have to be.
Yeah, we have to be.
Not anybody else.
But yeah, like, I had to do something different to broaden it out.
You didn't want to do that island folk rock eyes buys music? I don't know.
I'll record the shit, dude. Yeah, that'll be fun to record, man.
So what was it like for you, like broadening out your your horizons so that you can do music as employment?
It was different. But like I think the hardest part is that where I play so much. Like for me, when I play metal because like I play for the fun of it. I'm always trying to challenge my ability with it, and like that's just guitar. But like when it comes to like production and mixing and stuff, like anything is good as long as you can still work on shit, right? And I've always been kind of surrounded by that stuff, like all different genres and whatnot. But like I'm just like painted as this metal guy, so it's hard to like get out of that rut.
I see. You got to release a country album EP.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, you had that bluegrass sound when I got you to get the intro. I'm like, I want a little bit of bluegrass in there, just a hand, just because I'm a sucker for that.
I just wanted some like good fucking like good rock music. That's all. I was going in that with like, okay, like you're going out with the boys, like start the bikes up and go.
Start
like
the bike rock, cue the cock rock and go.
Yeah.
What are you even listening to?
This is the soundtrack of my penis.
Just screams like a fucking hog.
So what have you been rocking out to lately?
For bands?
No, like what have you been going to? I've been not anything. Oh man, I've been nothing. I've listened to no music recently, so
man, I'm just coming out of like a synthwave phase. Yeah, I was really digging that shit, like bands like the Midnight and shit, like just like really jamming that stuff.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's this band Sleep Token I like. They're a UK band. They're doing this whole anonymous identity thing, so like no one knows who they are.
Oh, that's very black metal.
Yeah, and they look very black metal, but they're not. Like it's really cool. It's a different take on it. I kind of like it because it's refreshing.
I love the Europeans for that. They're very interesting with the way they present their music.
Whatever the fuck is in the water in the UK and Australia, man, I can give it to me, please. They just pump out good music, man.
That's hilarious.
And then Canada's good for the death metal too. So
we were listening to older Becoming the Archetype. I think it was the Dichotomy album, but even the Terminate Damnation album we were listening to a bit. And I just realized how much gold I grew up on when it comes to metal. I'm like, this is so good. And I'm blown away by it. I'm like, that was just the norm for us. I'm like, yeah, I'm listening to this.
Right.
The older I get, the more I appreciate my own taste in music.
Yeah, dude. Well, and now
I realize I'm 100% right about everything.
Yeah. But like everything is like so oversaturated now with music. Like anybody can put out a fucking album on Spotify or iTunes or whatever, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's like podcasts. Like it's the market is so saturated because
dude,
we spent $400 on a couple good mics and a mixer thing, and they were like, oh, we're doing it now.
Yeah.
That's a very low bar of entry.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it doesn't matter though, man.
We missed the boat. We did miss the boat. If we would have got
you could have $1 million worth of gear, but if it's not good, it's not good, man.
That's the thing. I've listened to I've listened to ones that are bigger than ours and actually getting sponsored, and this is what they do or whatever. And I'm bored to tears. I'm like, your audio quality is shit and your topics are boring.
That's man. And that's the thing that drives me is the audio quality sometimes. It's like a big podcast and it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like Bill Burr. Like I like Bill Burr's comedy, but like fucking get off your phone, Mike. You're like in a fucking Uber doing a podcast talking about sports last night. Like, I love the shit.
I stopped listening to his podcast is not.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it at all.
No, I tried. You know what?
I'm gonna wait to hear your material when the special comes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I was keeping up with it. I was listening to it every other day as soon as it came out, and it just got to the point where he seemed like he was going on to Google, seeing whatever stories are up, and he's like, "I'm going to talk about this."
Right, okay, yeah.
I could do that, but at the same time, I'm like,
that being said, like maybe that's his process for developing new material now.
Yeah,
like maybe it's like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here riffing, at whatever comes across my feed, and then
Twitter
who knows what he's paying attention.
Yeah.
Who knows what he's paying attention to for metrics on what he's putting
Oh
out
yeah.
there. And so maybe like this is
he might have a super genius like
for
method.
a guy like Bill Burr can't just go do CD clubs for 6 months and work on material and then hone it down and then boom go on a headlining tour with a killer material anymore.
Yeah.
Like he's always the best. He's always top of the bill. So maybe that's his way of kind of capturing some of that the old comedy club magic of just being able to sit there and shoot the shit at low stakes and see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, true, he does like the interaction though. I was listening to it during the pandemic and all that shit. He was like, "Man, this has killed my shows. I don't know how to do this." It's like I went to one of those car ones where it was a parking lot and everyone's tuned into the right radio station, and instead of laughing they would honk, but it was like he was horrible because he's like, I'm getting nothing off the crowd. Like I went to go DJ an event help my buddy DJ because that's something I'm doing because fucking it's money. And he's like, I'm trying to work with these people and I got nothing. They're giving me no feedback, like no bobbing of the heads. And this guy's a DJ. Like this is what he did for a long time. And he was so frustrated. And I'm like, I'm going into it as a playlist. I can't do any of this. Like he's thinking of songs in the moment and then putting them on, and he knows all the pop songs. And I hate pop music.
Yeah,
this is gonna be a stretch for me.
Shit. I love it.
You love? Oh, I can't stand it.
I'm such a weird. Like I don't know. It's weird because like everybody's like, oh, you fucking metalhead. Is like, no man. It's like I like Charlie Puth and shit. Like, so I guess I'm a fuck with Justin Bieber, dude. Like, I don't give a shit.
What would be your favorite pop music? Like, what was something that you would come on? You'd be like, okay, like this is legitimately good. Like I see
right now it's that Charlie Puth guy. Like I've been loving that dude's stuff lately.
Charlie Puth. What is he?
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, he's like a newer. I don't know if he's newer, but it's newer to me.
my finger is not on the pulse of anything current.
No, yeah. I'm always trying to dig out some shit. A lot of people are into that Dua Lipa chick. I'm not like huge into it. Like it's all right, but a couple songs I like.
Oh, maybe it would be interesting is have you curate a playlist of the random shit that you're into right now, and we can put it on Spotify under our blue collar.
It'd be wild playlist, man.
Yeah, well, it can't be worse than Devin's. Devin's are like, Devin's. What did you do the other day? You're like songs to rock out and ride with.
I had my
hippie.
I had my my Easy Rider chopper playlist of just like spacey hippie rock. Hippie stoner rock. I was like, this is the vibe I'm in right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want Steppenwolf, I want Iron Butterfly, I want weird live Hendrix tracks.
And it's really funny because they have to have a theme and then there's me. If I'm
putting together a playlist, it needs to be themed. Otherwise I have to have it, even if it's not musically themed, if it's got like a content theme or something like that.
Like for me, that's what an album is. Like I'll turn on an album for that.
Yeah,
you know? But that's what I love listening to albums. I hate just putting music on random. I can't do it.
And that's me.
And that's why I don't
literally do it.
Yeah. So if I want to listen to multiple bands, I have to almost put it together like I would put together an album, even if it's
right.
And I kind of want to, I kind of even want songs to like flow from one to the next with each other if I'm putting together a playlist.
Totally.
That's what Justin does. When he's DJing, he's thinking of that shit on the fly.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not just random pop music. He's like, I'm feeling the room. I know what'll work. I know what songs will play well off one another.
Yeah.
So like it's curating a musical playlist is actually like it's a skill.
And the software that he's using actually shows the beat and the pattern and everything. And as it's flowing, and it's going to show the next song's beat and pattern, and he can make them flow together. Like it's a really good software, especially if you know how to use it.
So you can like look ahead.
Yeah, you can actually see ahead to, okay, this is what's coming. And they all have similar beat pattern, which allows the music to flow really well from one to the next, keeping the floor busy. but these people were giving him nothing at all. Like he was putting out his best, and it came down to like 5 people sitting at a table, like not engaging with him. He's like, "Do you want me to just pack up and go home? Turn it up, turn it down? Like, what? Give me something."
How many people were there?
Oh, apparently there was like 20, and it was a bunch of doctors or something. And yeah, they
You
just
gotta know your crowd, man. You gotta know your crowd.
but this apparently they had a Christmas party, another Christmas party the night
Yes,
before,
they
and
were still hungover from the
still
party
hungover.
before. So
Oh shit! Yeah, that was
he
that's
was
rough
doomed
one.
before he started.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
but he still gave it his all. He was like,
Did you
"No,
still
I
get
can't."
paid though?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
fucking A,
yeah.
dude. Yeah. Sell out for a night. Fuck it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, but if you're like a young punk band or something like that, right? Like you give your all for every performance, even if there's only like three spaced out
man.
fans that that are there.
Yeah, I remember doing
That's-
that for TFK back in the day. I know it rhymed. I didn't mean to. I went to a 1,000 Foot Crutch concert back in the day, and they put tons of bands on this thing. It's like, oh, it's going to be in the school gymnasium, and they were nobody back then. And yeah, me and my buddy show up. We're like, we're here for 1,000 Foot Crutch, and they went through all the bands, like so many. I don't know how they got all these bands together, all from the same area. By the time it got down to 1,000 Foot Crutch, everyone had left because they were so tired of waiting, and
Damn.
it became me and my friends. Like, I think there was over a dozen of us, but not very many. We were the crowd. So during the show, we're rocking out with 1,000 Foot Crutch, who is now selling out stadiums, and that was it. We were the crowd. There was nobody else, so we could rock out with them there. They're doing their best. We're doing our best, and then after hanging out with them a little bit, just because. And yeah, they wouldn't remember us for the life of me, but it was such
That's
a
cool experience though, like to do that.
Yeah. Thing is, I
know?
really liked them back then. They were like the band that I listened to. Now I'm like, a little sold out for me. I don't know. A little
Oh
too.
yeah, 100% sellouts.
I like
Yeah.
that running with Giants track they did. That was good shit.
I don't even listen to them anymore.
Yeah.
I have
I
no
don't know
idea.
that was years ago they put that out.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, they kind of embraced a different sound. They were very much in the rap rock. Yeah, a rap rock phase.
Yeah, there was that album Set It Off. I remember that was in high school and it came out. That was one of my jams. But it was this weird mix of like Rage Against the Machine, Linkin Park, Blink 182, and like Good Charlotte. It was the strangest, but like and like each song was that band's sound. It wasn't like all made into like a homogenous sound.
Right.
So like listening to that album was such a weird trip because it would go from one thing to the next to the next to the next. Like nothing transferred over. It was weird.
Damn, dude. Sounds bizarre.
But it was fun. It was fun, and they were obviously wearing their influences on their sleeve, and you know, they got I don't know, some kind of amalgamation and found some kind of sound after that. It was fine. It was good, but I don't know, maybe that's just me like losing interest in them and then coming back to them after the fact, like, oh wow, like when I think of quintessential sellout, like I think you guys are it.
Yeah. Shit. Did they ever say like that was their influences though?
I don't know, but like it just I came to them after the fact, like later. I'm like, oh wow, you guys are really specifically writing stuff that is very benign and very very easily digestible by the masses, and specifically by like rock radio sort of thing. It's like, you know, you guys went from doing one thing to specifically doing another, totally toning down anything that you had to say before to just say nothing. You're a nothing band now.
Yeah. And even they're looking back, their music. I was listening to one of their older albums, and it was
juvenile
and just really just shit. I was re-listening. I'm like, oh my god, this song meant the world to me when I was 16, 17 years old. And it really did.
Maybe they were just never good, and it's all it's all looking back and with rose-colored glasses.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, there's a lot of that shit, man.
Yeah, I remember one of the lyrics to their song was like, "You seem to think a lot like me, so we sat on your bed and read my poetry and all this shit." I'm like,
Damn, dude.
It was so bad. I couldn't believe how bad it was.
It's funny, man. Like when I was young though, like I wasn't paying attention to lyrics at all. I was just like jiving with the sonics, like what's cool.
Oh no, for
Oh
me,
man,
it was
I
always
had
about
this
lyrics
is
for me.
fucking sick
Like-
drums. This guitar is awesome. Look at this bass.
paying attention to lyrics for me became a skill I had to do in order to be allowed to listen to music.
Yeah, man, I had to develop it myself.
Yeah, like because it was like nobody in my sphere of how would you say, nobody in my sphere of authority over me was very much into rock or metal or anything like that.
Okay.
That was a very much a verboten thing. And so I had to justify, no, rock isn't evil. Like rock isn't inherently evil.
Oh, yeah.
It can just be a tool for lyrics that are good. And so I had to find things that were I had to find lyrics that were acceptable or good or and something that that my authorities
conservatively
my
acceptable.
conservative religious authorities would see as spiritually or morally acceptable and see like
Right.
see it can be paired with this music that you think is evil, therefore it like music is benign and words are what makes something good or not. So I that was the games I was playing when I was like 16.
It's amazing the level of mental gymnastics. As coming from a Christian conservative background, the mental gymnastics you had to put yourself through just to listen to a decent band. Like it's like,
That's
why
wild, man.
why do I
That's
have
crazy.
to justify this so much?
Yeah,
so
why
much.
you just want to enjoy something, man.
But I mean, that being said, like there is some stuff that is just like, yeah, like a kid shouldn't be listening to certain things, and if you
there
are,
are things there's things I
like-
was listening to I should not have been fucking listening to, dude.
Well, I was rocking out to what is his name? Eminem back in the day, like his first
That was my
album.
first album I had, man.
Cool.
The Eminem Show was the first CD I ever bought. My mother bought it for me. I was like 9.
Did she know what she bought you? Like,
oh, sorry, I had to ski go down the wrong.
Yeah, my mom loved that shit, man. I was and like we went to like a Shoppers Drug Mart or some shit, and they had like CDs in this little stand by the checkout. And I was
It's
like,
so funny.
"Oh, it's Eminem," This is when like
once-
Eminem came out.
Mommy.
Like,
mommy, bye. Can I get it?
come
I
on,
once-
boy.
I
Come
once
on, boy. It's
forgot-
only $10. Fuck.
I once forgot the Eminem Show CD in my parents' CD player in their car after driving
Yeah.
around.
Oh,
Oh man, and, like getting in there with my dad, and then it like pumping on in
Starts
the middle
off-
of like the Drip song or something like that.
It
It's
starts
like-
off with White America. You're like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
I think it was the one talking about like gonorrhea, female gonorrhea.
Fuck, God only knows what
Yeah.
song that is.
Yeah, it could be any one of 3 on that album.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad just looking over me like, no, this is too far. No, no.
Yeah.
now I'm going to hell with you. What did you do to me,
Yeah.
son?
Well, it was good because like I remember like driving back from like Halifax and shit. Because I used to go to Halifax all the time for like surgeries and shit. So we were like driving back to catch the boat, and like "My Name Is" by Eminem was on the radio all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And like I was just bopping that in the car with mom. It was awesome. And then I seen the CD afterwards. I was like, oh, I want to get this. And I had like
But you-
$20.
You were hearing the radio edit too. Like you're like, oh, my
Right,
name is-"
right,
And
yeah.
so
And that's all she was hearing too,
Yep.
Yeah.
right?
I know that was a sneaky little trick that radio pulled with a lot of that stuff.
Hell
You're
yeah,
like, "Oh, this
dude."
isn't so bad. And then you get the album,
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
all right.
I don't think a lot of parents really paid attention to the explicit tag in the corner.
no, I
You know?
My parents
They're just
did.
like, it's like,
Tipper
oh, why is
Gore
that
really-
there? Oh, it's just there.
Tipper Gore really changed the world with that one, didn't she?
Yeah, for real, man. Yeah, done fucking
M-
nothing.
M doesn't mean mature. It means makes you a better person.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I got that. That was great. That was like my intro to music, man. That's how I got into it.
Yeah, that was my. I'm gonna go and listen to it at my friend's place. Like it was
Yeah.
edgy, and the fact that my friend got it, we're like, oh. But we also, if we got to go to his place, we were watching South Park and listening to Eminem. Like that was
Yeah,
what we
that was
did.
that was my house, man. That was me. Yeah, like come over. I got fucking South Park on VHS, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember like the early seasons of South Park. It was
Oh,
so
man.
raw and fun.
So good. Like that first season, like Big AL and shit. Like that was great.
Oh my gosh, yes. Where's Big Al? I haven't seen him in a
I haven't
lot
seen
of
him in
seasons.
a long time, man.
I
He was
know.
awesome.
They're gonna bring him back just because of this. They're gonna be like, "Oh, it's time."
But like as a kid, it's cool. It's like, yeah, man, just let people fucking be what they want to be and chill. Like you don't have to be a fucking asshole about it. Just like do your thing, man. You know.
Oh yeah,
I love South Park for that, man. They always like
they
give you the
they
episodes are always so crazy, but at the end of the day, it's like here's
There's
the
like a little
beautiful part
moral.
of this.
It's
Yeah.
like the whole episode is a little parable.
except
Yeah,
for the whole
yeah, man. It's like, yeah, awesome.
except for when they tried to do the Muslim moral of the story, and then they got shut down hard on that one.
Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, yeah.
I
So
don't
it
remember
was
that
it
one.
was the one where they wanted to show like
Muhammad.
something happened to Muhammad or something like that, and they had just had a ton of blowback from the Muslim community about showing an image of Muhammad. And it was one of those things at the time where it's like, no, you don't fuck with Muslims because like they may actually
They'll do something
like
about
you
it.
may get a
They
bomb mailed to you
will
or
do
something.
Shit.
And so the network just like shut them down on everything, and so they wound up with this whole episode of trying to deal with this. And then they had the speech at the end where Stan, went off on one of his classics. Stan, you know what I think we really learned here, and apparently like they put some real effort into actually trying to say something good, say something like about the situation that was fair to everybody, but like actually like standing for something. And so they had it in there, and Stan said it all. It's on the show, but
Comedy
the
Central.
the Comedy Central, they beeped the whole moral. So it's just like they're playing it. It's like I think what we really learned is beep.
Which I don't know. At the time, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was.
It was so much more funny than actually hearing it, because you're like, oh snap, there was a moral, but it got censored. Like that was so funny. But I guess they were super pissed about it
because it wasn't supposed to be said. If they had done it intentionally, it would have been hilarious. But the fact that they didn't and they got censored, I'm like,
but
okay,
that's
now
even more
you.
hilarious because it's
it's more funny, I think.
It's unintentionally
Yeah.
hilarious. Like that's one of those things where like just differing interests can converge to accidentally be funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
The thing is, Comedy Central wasn't trying to be funny. They were trying to be safe, and that's what made me say, "Fuck you." I'm like, oh, that frustrating. I know it's funny. I know it's really, really, really funny, but stop. It was really I was really divided on how I felt, because I'm like, it's so funny, it's so good.
Was this like what season was this, you think? Because
Oh,
I haven't watched anything.
Oh, I don't
like
even. It was
18 or
years.
some
That must have been in the mid 2000s.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Well, I've probably seen it, man. I'm like missing that.
they literally had a walking around censored picture of Muhammad. Like, it was just, imagine a back block that's a black block that is a person that has the word censored over top of it, and that walked around the screen, and they bleeped out everything it said. Because they're like, nope, not allowed to say nothing. Nope, it's not Muhammad. And I'm like, and they say Christians can't take jokes. I'm like, we can, better than that.
Not well.
Not well.
No.
Did you see the latest Rick and Morty? The one with
Man, you know what? I've never seen Rick and Morty.
What?
Yeah, dude. And every time somebody's like, "What? You would fucking love that show, man. It was like made for you."
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't know why I haven't. I guess I just haven't had the
Time?
chance to see
The
it.
chance?
I guess I don't
Do you
know.
do you have Prime?
Yeah.
Do you have Stack? It's like on like
No, that shit costs more money.
I know,
Exactly.
it's really
bullshit.
But you can get
Total
a
bullshit.
you could get a what do you call it, the
Are you gonna teach me about pirating right now?
No, but I can. I got a guy. That's off
You
air.
got a guy, yeah.
I got
Remember,
a guy.
kids,
Yeah.
steal things.
Dude, I haven't pirated
man.
since like the LimeWire days, man.
Oh, it's too much work.
And that's
You
a
could-
fucking fact.
you
too.
brought
Okay.
too many. You brought up too many
All right.
viruses.
That's a
Pirating.
plague.
That brings to mind a famous sellout band, Metallica. What are your thoughts on how that whole thing with like Napster and labels and stuff like that playing out?
I mean, there had to be a way for bands to get money. You know?
I feel like
Like-
there's a butt coming in.
Yeah, but at the same time, you make a lot of fucking money from shows too.
Oh,
I guess.
they made bank.
Yeah, they would make bank. But I get it. Like that was the point when like record sales dropped. They weren't getting that money anymore.
Yeah, like Napster and just the digital market in general has just changed the landscape of purchasing music.
Everything, dude. Everything. You know, Even now with streaming, it's kind of shit too, but it's like better than nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like
But
how
like,
much?
I hate that mentality though because it's still shit. So I don't want to give
But I
somebody
think,
like, oh, at least you're getting something.
yeah, but for a while there were bands. Like there were so many bands signing. There was an unbelievable number of bands getting deals and record deals and all this, and the music was shit. Like
Oh yeah,
there
yeah,
was no way to say, oh yeah, but they're good music. It's like no, everybody and their dog was getting a record deal, except for us here. And
I mean, but that was the
Everybody.
90s. That was a different
that
time.
was the 90s and the early 2000s
Oh,
before
sick.
all that stuff.
Those guys can afford their whole setup. Let's fucking sign them. We don't have to give them shit.
Yeah,
We'll just book shows. Take
just
fucking 80%. Fuck them.
yeah. And
We'll,
now you got
we'll feed them. We'll feed them heroin, and we're their only plug, and so they can never leave us.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I guess record labels weren't innocent. Like they weren't like
no.
the great benefactors, but the system seemed better than what is now. Like as far as like for artists to like go ahead and be like, okay, we want a career in making albums.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I don't
think
know.
it was more beneficial then. Like I think now you have to be pretty much pull your own weight in order
Yeah.
to get that.
And you got to stand out because there's so many people doing it with the
Yeah, dude.
digital
And like
age of
yeah, like we said earlier, like
just making so
Yeah.
much stuff.
And then you are
Yeah.
doing good things and people just rip your shit, and
just
just like
rip your shit.
take
And
it without
and,
any.
to me that's fine. Like fucking take it, man. I don't give a shit. Like I had fun making it. That's why I do music.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
know?
well, let's say you were somebody that actually that had a career
And
that
overhead.
was
Not just you.
yeah, a career overhead. You've invested in albums and album artwork. You've got a tour to go on that's based off of record sales, like where you're getting
Right.
billed and things like that, and like your family's, the mouths to feed depend on it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden albums like just like hit a year and like your sales just
And they drop, yeah.
ain't out of nowhere. Like that.
Yeah, so I can see where Lars was coming from, dude, in that
I mean,
regard. Like,
Metallica was never in any danger of going broke.
No.
I
no,
mean,
but
I
you gotta
don't
realize
think
who
that
they
fight
are.
was for
They
them.
made 4 million instead of 20.
Yeah, but like they always paved the way, man. That's the thing with Metallica. Like you can shit on them all you want. They're like the gateway band for fucking
Yeah,
all that
they
shit.
they always were the guys
Always.
to be first at something or to
Yeah,
stand
man.
up for the other bands or things like
Yeah,
that, right?
dude. Yep.
Like nobody
And
else
that's why
had
I
the
respect
balls
them.
or the clout of Lars to go and say that shit under oath.
Legit, dude. Yeah.
Like that was a
Early
baller move to go up
2000s.
there and be like, yeah, I know all my fans are gonna hate me for this, but this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Dude, the best though was like people like buying the albums and like burning them and breaking them. It's like fuck, man, they're selling records now.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Shit, dude.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like
I forgot about that.
NWA
Yeah,
had
dude.
the same thing. It's like, what? They bought the albums. I don't give a fuck. Like they paid for it.
Yeah,
They can do
yeah,
what
man,
they
they
want.
paid for that shit.
Well, simultaneously, I think the biggest thing was the conflict of them projecting this attitude of fuck the man, and then they become the man in which they're like, no, fuck that man over there, not me, just because I'm making millions. And I think that was the attitude that people were getting, or at least
Shit.
The thing is,
thinking.
I don't think it was about them. I think it was about like everybody else. Like they were looking at like all the guys that they came up with, all the bands that are coming up that they're touring with, and be like, this dynamic shift is going to change everything for these guys, and they're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a huge transitioning from what I saw of everyone getting something to, okay, we need to rethink. I think they spread themselves way too thin though. They were being too reckless.
Thinner than now?
No. At the time in the late 2000s, early 90s, late 90s, they were spreading the record label so thin, like just trying to put out as much music as possible with as many bands as they could. And yeah, it wasn't fair to the artists. They were taking way too much and then not giving enough, and just yeah, I don't know, unrealistic expectations of what they could be doing, and then you got guys like Alexis on Fire, which went completely independent right from the get go.
Yeah,
Put on
Portraits of Hero did that shit
phenomenal
too.
music, and they were a lot of fun to listen to. They did their own thing, and yeah,
but
they did it on their own.
They still got their start off of album sales. You know, they build up an honest to God
Yeah.
fan base that financially supported them until they were big enough to withstand the drop of it. But it was still based off of album sales.
Yeah,
Was their first album independent?
I don't know.
Was that Crisis or whatever the fuck it was?
I don't
I'm trying
know.
to
I don't
think
know
now.
enough about them. I know they were from Sault Ste. Marie area, and they were good old Canadian band. I love some of their music. I haven't listened to them in forever.
I know it's been a long time since I pulled up any Alexis on Fire, but yeah, they were huge when I was in college. Like people loved them.
Yeah.
Them and Billy Talent were like the big things in Edmonton in the early 2000s.
Oh, Billy Talent. I had so many friends that were into them.
Oh, freaking A. I loved the first couple albums of Billy Talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
At first, I didn't like. That was one of those bands that I like. Oh fuck, I like this, but I don't want to like it.
It was like
I was like, I was
had.
like, you know, like new metal, Korn, as
Yeah.
you know, Linkin Park. That's rap rock. That was my stuff. And like this thing came out of like these like weird emo guys that looked like I could beat them up, and
Their music's pretty good.
their music was really good, but it was so different than what I liked, and like it was like, oh, I don't want to like this. This is the band that I should hate. And they were just undeniable to me. And then I was like, you know what?
They were
Fuck
wicked,
it.
dude.
I bought their album and I blasted that all summer long, 2003. Or it's 2004. Yeah, the summer of 2004. That was my album for the year.
Are there any bands that you're like you love but you hate that you like them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got anything in particular?
Like Periphery, dude. I fucking love the guitar, the musicianship in it, but it's like they have this like whiny part with their vocals. And it's like he's a great singer. He's probably one of the fucking best singers I've ever heard. And like seen him live, he hit every note. But it's like when I first heard them, it was like, fuck. It's just one of those bands, like just such a guilty pleasure. It's like, oh, I'll listen to this when I'm alone. You know, and like you'd show somebody like it's like, man, you gotta hear this sick riff in this verse, and they'd be like, holy fuck, man, I can't get past what he's singing. You know, but it's like Megadeth. It kind of like at first you fucking hate it, but then it grows on you, and like it would never be the same without.
It'd never be the same if somebody other than Dame was sitting there like snarling
like,
into a microphone out of key.
Right. Yeah. But it's like it's not that way for me now in Periphery, but at first it definitely was. I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna hide away with this. But it's weird that you feel that way with music. I hate that.
Right? You're like, I love it, but I don't want
to.
Yeah,
I don't want people to make fun of me for listening to this. Like, why the fuck can't I just fucking enjoy something without somebody being a bigot?
Okay, I'm that way when it comes to this band called Baby Metal, the Japanese metal.
The Asian chicks?
The Asian chicks.
They're fucking awesome, dude.
I know. And I'm like,
it's so good.
People are ripping on me like that shit, really. I'm like, it's so entertaining.
The first time I heard Baby Metal,
I
was like, it was a revelation. I'm like, this is exactly what Marty Friedman was always talking about.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he fucking envisioned that shit.
And the thing is, you know that it's a corporate built band. It was built by a record label.
It's a plant.
Yeah, it was a J-pop band. They were like, if we put a metal band under it, it will attract other sales. And like they just got like random chicks that they could put into it, taught them how to do their thing and dance to the music. But it's freaking undeniable.
It's awesome shit, dude. I love it.
Oh,
I would legit pay money to go to one of their shows.
I wouldn't understand a thing. I'd be like, I don't know what they're saying. I don't know. They could be talking about slaughtering babies.
Oh man, they're like doing like Dragon Ball Z dances and shit. They're like going crazy. Right? It's like, yeah, I'll watch that shit.
I'm so uncomfortable.
But like the band that plays with them is deadly.
Wrong.
Yeah,
the band that plays with them, like they can play with any death metal band on the planet and crush it. The blast beats and the way they play their guitars and stuff is like it's great.
Apparently, Rob Zombie gave him a big shout out, and a bunch of his fans were like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
That.
Oh, all those guys love him. Rob Zombie, like Rob Halford, Judas Priest, like all those guys. Whoever tours with Baby Metal loves Baby Metal.
Yeah, man.
And they're like, these chicks rock harder than anybody out there.
Yeah, the backlash Rob Zombie got on like Instagram and shit when he
And you
posted
know it's a bunch of
picture with them,
incels in their basement.
blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck?
Why do you care so much? It's like,
Yeah, it's
it's
like
like
I'll
when
never
One
watch
Direct-
another Rob Zombie movie again. It's like, who the fuck hurt you? like, like, what did these fucking little girls do to you that made you
Where
just
did Baby
fucking
Metal touch you?
hate them?
Show me on the doll.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of sexual tension, and they're like, it's Japanese hot girl.
Really, it's just like a bunch of guys ashamed about their hentai porn.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, for real. For real. If my wife knew I was into this,
like listening to Baby Metal in the room, the wife opens the door. Like, quickly shut down the computer. Nothing.
Yeah.
She's like, I know that song.
So bad. So fucking bad.
I know you're watching hentai in there. Don't think I don't know.
It's Naruto, I swear.
Oh,
Something I haven't watched.
I never got into anime and any of that shit.
When I was a kid, I was like a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. Like,
Oh yeah, but that's not the same.
Like, there's nothing better than watching one fight last a whole season.
Yeah, I tried to rewatch it as an adult. I got to like the Frieza series. I was like, okay, man, it's been like 16 fucking episodes. Just kill him. And then he kills him, and he's like, ah, but I haven't reached my final form. I'm like, well, fuck. How far is this going? He does this like 4 times.
Oh, I know.
Fucking
Every
nuts.
season is the same thing. There's a new battle, a new boss that's more powerful.
Yeah.
You fight him for 13 episodes.
Like, oh fuck, Goku's the underdog again.
Oh,
Again.
surprise. It's never like, oh, Goku's fine.
Yeah. Like, oh, sick, Vegeta finally did something. Great.
As a kid, that shit was awesome.
Oh, dude,
yeah.
I loved it, man. I'd like go to the store like every Friday and get the magazine that came out, like draw all the pictures and stuff.
I think my parents, when they saw me watching that, they were like, well, he's in the house and he's not.
At least it's not porn.
It's not porn.
Yeah.
And I can't be mad at it because nothing's happening. Like they're waiting for something. How's that whiskey in the nose?
The nothing's happening that got me. Like, why are you just sitting there standing looking at each other for 20 minutes?
Even my
They're
hyperconservative
just making
cats,
all they hear is fucking like sex noises, like
Intense thinking.
What the fuck is going on in there? Yeah,
that's right. I remember the word.
Oh my gosh.
good shit.
I
man.
will give you $100 bill if you do that during sex.
Yeah, yeah. My
So-
God, my power level is above 10,000.
I'll know it's true because Amanda will be so pissed and confused. What
Be
the
like,
fuck
yeah.
was that?
Mike
What
told
the
me to
fuck?
tell you that he said Kamehameha
Yeah.
at some
Bah.
point today.
Yeah, I'd do it only if I could record it though, because it's kind of not worth it.
Kind of
If
not
you
worth it
can't.
unless you can prove it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. It's like, oh, now you're just being like embarrassing yourself. Someone can watch. It's not so embarrassing.
She's like, I'm so disappointed in you. It's like, so nothing's changed. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, good Lord.
Where do we get on that? Oh yeah, Baby Metal.
Yes, guilty pleasures.
Guilty pleasures.
Yeah, man.
My guilty pleasure was Meatloaf.
Yeah.
I think that
Hell
was
yeah,
all
man.
of UK's, all of London's guilty pleasure for like 10 years.
Yeah.
He didn't
It's the
leave.
#1 album for like 30 years and nobody wanted to admit it having it.
Yeah,
That's fucked up.
isn't that
That is so fucked
It's
up.
like-
Another
I
guilty pleasure is Nickelback, because I know everybody
fuck
hates
you.
them.
Sorry.
Yeah, everybody hates them. Everybody hates them. I fucking love them.
Really?
I will,
Yeah, I really like
will
them,
admit
man.
to purchasing an album of theirs, or 2 albums of theirs with my own money.
All right. Now, if we haven't been canceled at this point, like what else hateful things?
What
you
was
would
it?
say?
Silver Side Up, the one
Silver Side
about
Up,
like
yeah.
the one
I
about
have no idea. Don't look at me. Look at him.
the song Never Again. Like that was
Yeah,
huge
dude.
when I was a kid. Like that was
That
a
was like
killer
their
song.
first like radio song,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
that was a killer song. And then I got the CD before that. There was a little less radio. It sounded a lot like Nirvana almost, like a mix between Nirvana and Puddle of Mud.
Oh shit.
And after that, they lost me. They lost me with Photograph. I was like, nope.
That was kind of
Can't do this anymore. And then after that, like I just saw the formula, like of like the animal raunchy rock song that strippers are gonna dance to, and everyone's gonna buy it with their cowboy hats and rebel flags. Like as soon as they started that whole thing going, I'm like, oh god, this is so boring.
Yeah.
No.
But I gotta tell you, like Silver Side Up, I spun that shit for a year solid.
Dude, yeah, that was the one that got me into them. My uncle had it, and I was like, fuck yeah, dude. I fucking heard.
The only song that I will admit to liking was the one off of the Spider-Man album. The I Can Be Your Hero or whatever.
That wasn't even Nickelback itself. That was
Saliva.
Just Saliva and the lead singer of Nickelback.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's it. That's the only one that I was like, but I was like an adolescent teenager. Like,
okay, I'll challenge you to go back and listen to the song "Never Again."
Okay,
it's a song about an abusive relationship where a guy's watching his mom.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Get beat by his dad over and over and over again until
like tensions building with like the bass and shit. Like it's cool.
Like that guitar, never again. Never again.
I think that one.
That whole album was good. Fuck.
Oh yeah, it got overplayed like
that. I think that was the problem with that.
I think that's what happened to them though. Like it was just like everybody was just like, okay,
it was Photograph.
It was Photograph. Yeah, but that was doing the same thing as those fucking singles did on the radio.
At least Never Again sounded good.
It did.
When you overplayed Photograph, it's like everybody's like, gag me with a spoon.
And call me Adam Sandler. Fuck.
Yeah, then the dude married like Avril Lavigne and like became like some kind of like big old rock star. Like, no, you're a hick. Act like a hick. Fuck you.
It's from Hannah, Alberta.
Right?
Yeah. Actually, one of the guys that goes to my church, apparently he drummed for Nickelback for a little while.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Be Gabe?
No.
Oh, I just assume anything musical is involving Gabe.
No, one of the other guys who was a drummer in our church, he's a drummer in our church once in a while. He's like, yeah, I did a little bit of tour with them and they just went too crazy. And he's like, I'm out. Yeah, they found somebody a little more
adventurous.
A little more adventurous.
Hell yeah, man. Well, you got to stick to what you morally believe in. Keep your integrity or whatever you want.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I want to talk about selling out more. I really want to sell out, but at the same time, I don't.
Well, what's selling out even look like for us?
Okay, for us, it would be being told what to say. But at the same time, I don't want anyone to tell me what to say. You tell me what to say. Well, now I'm going to say the opposite of that. In fact,
is it?
I would say if anybody, if they
tell us,
the thing is, if anyone is advertising,
okay, so sponsorship,
okay, sponsors. Yeah. But I'm just saying, if anyone is running ads on our podcast, I know that some podcast things are like, oh, you're about to listen to a podcast. Here's an ad, and they just throw an ad in there just because.
Right.
Buy the opposite of that product. They want to sell you water, you buy dirt. I don't know. Just don't buy what it is. We're not getting paid. So if you're hearing an advertisement, don't sponsor. No. I don't sponsor them. If they want to start giving me money.
No, I'm talking with you.
If they want to start giving me money, then I'll start endorsing them. So up until then, I'm like, we're getting nothing. We're paying for the privilege of being on these platforms. This is not, we're making nothing off it. We're just putting it's more effort on our part.
Is making money selling out?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, what is selling out?
Explain to me where your hang up is here.
My hang up is being told what you can't say.
Who's telling you what not to say?
Nobody yet.
So it's against your morals.
I'm not saying us. We're not selling out. China. No, let's say we got a okay, let's just say hypothetically, one day we get sponsored by Daily Wire, a hyper-conservative thing. And they're like, we don't want you to say anything. We don't want you to use rude language anymore. No more swearing. No more saying fuck. No more saying cunt. No more saying shit, any of that stuff.
Okay.
I'd be like, no, that's what makes our show the way that it is. How much money would they have to
give
throw
me
at you?
2 years of rehab and I might be able to do it. Yeah.
I wouldn't like that. That would be selling out to me. That would be like, hey, we're going to trade in what made us what we are, what put our podcast, made us authentic.
So do you think that we could have the same level of intellectual conversation or anti-intellectual, depending on your position, without saying fuck as much? We could.
You could.
Yeah, 100% we could.
100%.
And what would we be actually sacrificing for content if we cleaned up our language?
I feel like the only thing we'd sacrifice is the freedom to do it.
Okay.
And I don't like that.
Isn't that kind of like the Joe Rogan story with comedy? The people would tell him like he got a manager or whatever, and he would tell him like, yeah, like your act's too dirty, like you got to clean the fuck up.
Yeah,
then, if you want to play bigger places and get out of these shitty fucking bars,
yeah,
you gotta clean your shit up. And he's like, fuck, like no, it's not me,
Yeah, and then he went into a dirty place, and he's like, oh, and they're like, oh, you
these are my people.
He's like, these are my people, and he unloaded, and then they realized, oh,
yeah,
fuck all that advice. No, you do you, and I want to be able to do us. Like if we get to the point where somebody wants to sponsor us,
that I'm tracking with. I'm tracking with that now.
Okay,
I'm just trying to.
I know, create conversation. I get it.
But the question was
part where you're at.
Yeah, but your question was like, if you guys can still do the same thing without swearing.
Yeah, I mean,
the answer is yes.
What if we chose? What if we were like, okay, we can be more successful and maybe even make $1 doing this if we decide to clean up our language. What if we choose that and it works? Is that selling out?
I think so. Definitionally. It would be definitionally. I'm having a hard time with that word right now.
By definition.
Yeah, well, that's a much better way of putting it. It would be we're going to sacrifice this one thing for the sake of money.
See, I don't see it that way.
But do you lose like any of your authenticity?
Yeah, if we could do it without losing anything, I'd be like, that's a trade-off I'd be willing to make.
Yeah, like what's the compromise you're making here?
Yeah. Okay. That would be step one. Okay, let's call that step one. Step one, we clean up our language. Step two, maybe we don't have whiskey.
Devin's like, I fucking hate you.
If we just stopped having whiskey, that's okay. But
what's the demographic though? What is your demographic?
But that's exactly it. I know people. Yeah. I've met people. If you stop
both those things, I feel like you're losing the demographic you have now.
Yeah. And
I don't know what you guys got, but like I listen and I've heard the people on here like they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
maybe your dad, Mike. I don't know.
He's a great guy.
Dude.
At the same time, that was very different.
Okay, what if we decided to rebrand?
To rebrand?
Yeah, we're like, okay, we're going to rebrand in order to do something.
We would have to change the name.
Treat it like a business venture.
Yeah, okay, we would have to change the name because we couldn't consider ourselves blue collar, but blue collar are not.
I'm not married to the name.
No, me neither. Because philosophers in blue collar,
falafels. And then there's all the incels, the blue collar philosophers that are talking about their conspiracy theories.
I think
Les Freeman did it.
That's true.
Yeah, he renamed because I found him. He was doing like the artificial intelligence podcast, and then he
branched out to other things.
Then after like 100 or 200 or like I think it was like 92 episodes or some shit.
Yeah,
he was like, "Oh, I'm going to change it to the Les Freeman podcast."
Yeah,
yeah, like we could get to a point. I didn't
bat a fucking eye. I don't know if anybody else did either.
The thing is, I would almost want to do two. I would rather lean towards doing two. One far more scripted, maybe more polished and pretty, and don't call it blue collar philosophers. But I couldn't imagine not doing this. The shooting the shit, hanging out, the literally just having our friends on and just doing this, like hanging out the way that we hang out when we're by ourselves.
The authentic version of you.
The authentic, not the polished, not the pretty.
Okay. Well, you said yourself, you self-censor when you're with your wife.
Oh yeah.
Is that selling out?
Me too.
Yes. I am trading.
Are you literally selling yourself out for affection from your wife or for respect from your wife? Like is that a moral compromise you're making?
No, I wouldn't call it a moral compromise. I would call it
is selling out a moral compromise?
Okay. No.
Okay, there we go.
I don't see it as a moral compromise. I see it as a financial economic compromise.
Like in
I
regards
call
to
it
your wife, or in regards to the business venture?
Yeah, in regards to the business venture, it's it's an economic compromise.
Okay, is that selling out, or is that buying in, investing in yourself, investing in yourself and your potential to accomplish something?
Definitely.
What's the difference? Like, is there a difference in selling out or buying in?
I don't think so. Maybe I haven't thought about this enough, but this is what we're doing. So
yeah.
Well, here, the definition of selling out.
You got the Google open.
I'm fucking pulling it up, man.
We're gonna Wikipedia that.
Yeah, selling. Yeah, it's totally a Wikipedia entry. Selling out or sold out in the past tense is a common expression for the compromising of a person's integrity, morality, authenticity, or principles by forging the long-term benefits of the collective or group in exchange for personal gain, such as money or power.
All right. So what were the things that they were trading? The
integrity, morality, authenticity, or principles.
So we would be going authenticity. We would be trading some level of authenticity
for personal gain, such as money or power.
Yeah, we would be trading that. If we're going by that definition, we would be trading authenticity.
I don't know. I mean, like, if I'm talking with my pastor, I'm maybe self-censoring myself more than this, but I think I'm being totally authentic when I'm sitting and having a conversation with him.
Right.
Yes, but you're not having it as a representative of an idea like the blue collar.
But if I'm willing to do it,
because the blue collar philosophers is more than just a podcast; it's an idea. What is a blue collar? Well, it's not somebody who's hyper polished.
But at that point, I'd feel like I'm selling out my integrity to play a character, just to be blue collar for the sake of it.
Yeah, that's true.
To be like
a caricature.
Yeah, a caricature of myself, and a extra sweary, more robust version of myself, just for the sake of making good.
That's true.
Good content. I mean, that's just as much a selling out of authenticity.
That's true.
As the inverse would be.
Yeah. I think it's like porn. You know when you see it.
Yeah.
In some areas where you're like, I don't know. I don't know exactly what selling out looks like, but I know it when I'll get there.
Okay. All right. So knowing it when you see it, I'm going to use two different examples that I've been thinking about today.
All right.
That this is a good way to bring them up as a comparison case. So I, before I made this joke of classic sellout band Metallica, I think, a lot of Metallica fans would say sellouts. I don't think so.
Fuck no.
On the other hand, As I Lay Dying, huge metalcore act, very successful. I think they fucking sold out hard multiple times.
Why?
Okay, so As I Lay Dying came up the ranks as a Christian metalcore act.
Man, I always heard that. I didn't believe it. That's true?
Yeah,
100%.
Shit, man, shit.
Christian labels, lyrics that were in that vaguely Christian vein. They toured with Christian acts, like the management. They played churches. They used to do a thing like mosh pit for Jesus kind of thing, and they continually toned that down as they got more and more successful, to the point where even as they personally fell away from faith, kept the facade up to keep their Christian audience,
or keep the funding.
Yeah, to keep the funding, to keep the audience, to keep the shows
the same
coming.
Thing. The audience and the funding is the same thing on that one.
Enough,
so even though they were completely off the rails morally from what they stood for at the beginning, completely off the rails lyrically from what they started, or things like that, always kept up the facade of being a Christian band, refusing to address changing beliefs, refusing to talk about their lyrics, or refusing to engage with that, just being elusive, or just outright stating like, no, we're the same guys we used to be, sort of thing, in order to keep that huge Christian base that was buying albums and going to shows. And
huge Christian base.
Yeah, it was massive for them.
As a Christian who listened to their music, me and my friends were like, have you heard the new As I Lay Dying? Have you been listening? It's like, yeah, of course. If you were a metalhead and a Christian, you knew As I Lay Dying.
For us, they were our generation Striper.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably
very, very accurate.
Or POD even.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Like I loved them. Like
Yeah,
when they came
they
out,
had.
man, I didn't know they were Christian. I was just like, this shit rips, man. Sick
And
rips.
that's what we liked about them.
Fuck
Yeah, that's what
Like,
we
it was
liked.
legit good. It was legit good. They didn't sell out their music for anything, but they sold out who they were portrayed themselves to be at the beginning and kept that facade up.
Right.
And then, so that was the first one and the more minor of them. Because that one you could be like, okay, they weren't totally upfront with them, like having personal changes in faith and belief. Like, what business of it are is what they believe anyway, right? You can make that argument.
Yeah, dude.
Then they had the thing where Tim Lambesis went off the rails, tried to have his wife murdered, got thrown in prison.
So fucked up,
And
man.
the rest of the band turned on him hard.
Yeah, dude.
And for good reason.
Yeah.
Because Tim was a fucking maniac narcissist and made all their lives hell.
Yeah, man. The fact they even went back blew my mind. I was like, you could...
Well, that's the
sellout.
Yeah.
So all these guys from As I Lay Dying started this other band, Woven War. For all intents and purposes, was actually a very good band.
They were sick, dude. I loved them.
It did not have the success of As I Lay Dying. But as Tim was being tried and convicted, and everybody was looking to them for like, what are you guys gonna do, and all that stuff, they were like, that guy's a monster. We will never be in a band with him ever again because he made our life hell. He's a narcissist. He's done unforgivable things to his family, who we love, who we've known for forever. Like, no, we're done. Like, there's no way to reconcile this. And 2 Woven War albums tank.
Yeah,
and
man,
then all of a sudden, this documentary comes out of the ether onto YouTube and about this magic story of forgiveness and Christian values and how Tim's come back to Christ and he's made his amends to the band and they've forgiven him despite saying that they never would participate with again. And suddenly they're a band again. All this drops at the same time as single drops.
Yeah, dude. My Own Grave.
Right? A brand new single drops. Okay, you can think, all right, you know what? Whatever they said, they can still forgive.
Yeah, because they still making rocking music. They're still good.
Yeah, but you're like, fuck yeah, this single rocks.
Yeah, right? Because the music is good.
Yeah,
the music's so good. Yeah, so it's like, I can just brush that to the side.
But that's one of the things that made them such a great band as a Christian. You're like, hey, they're not awesome for a Christian band. They're just an awesome band. That's something we hate, is because everyone's like, oh, they're good for Christians.
Exactly.
They're good. They're okay for Christians. It's like, no, these guys
ruled. You know, it's good. You know, kind of August Burns Red, maybe like kind of the one that's going to come in and replace them for that, of like just being a band that rips, is very talented.
Yeah.
But came from our heritage.
Yeah.
But anyway, to prove the point, you know, one album and a tour through the whole thing, and they start dropping like flies out of the band. Nick Hippa, the drummer, the bassist, and other singer, all of them saying nothing changed. He's the same guy as always, same problems. Fuck this. Like, it's one of those things where, like, you know, deep down in their heart, they're like, this is a bad idea, but they did it for the money. Like, really, and everybody was sitting there waiting, like, I wonder if As I Dying is going to get back together when they realize that they can't, you know, that's the meal ticket for them to play music, live for a living. And they did. And then it all fell apart because nothing changed.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, to me, that's quintessential selling out.
Yeah, that is the definition of
yeah, because there's like a part of me, it's like, well, if you can do what you love for a living and not have to deal with that other
I would love to do this for a living.
But like in that regard, it's like,
if you can do what you want for a living, make decent money so that you've got fuck you money and you can just call your own shots however you want to, be like, damn the hatches. That's what Metallica did.
Joe Rogan does the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. He made
Fear Factor, dude.
This. Yeah.
You know, like, I'm pretty sure he'll tell you that was a terrible idea.
Fear Factor. Is that selling out? Maybe he hated doing it. Maybe it was for the paycheck, but he wasn't doing anything to really compromise himself.
No, not at all.
Right? Like, he wasn't like sitting there pretending to be something he wasn't in order to make bank. He was just doing a gig.
He was presented an opportunity, right? He's like, I got this opportunity, I'm going to take it. So
and use that to parlay.
He was like a comedian trying to come up, so he's like, I can get my face in front of millions of fucking people.
Yeah.
you know. And what is he doing? He's like, oh, evidently fear is not a factor for you. Oh, and people were getting shocked by the other stuff, not him.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with making bank to a gig, or there's nothing wrong with making money and then being like, okay, I feel like changing the game right now, and I have the capital to do it. I'm gonna pull the trigger and do it. That's not selling out.
Yeah.
No, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still on the when you got there.
Really bad.
We can pause.
All right, give Red. We'll pause.
Yeah, I gotta run, dude. I've had like 3 bottles of water and a Red Bull.
Oh, look at all that pretty stuff. Yeah, no, I still I'm worried about selling out. I really am. I'd never want to have somebody tell me what I can and cannot say, and that's my biggest fear. Is because when we were part of the organization, how much of what we were doing was selling out.
I don't know if it was at the beginning. I don't know if it was at. Sorry, I'm too far away from the microphone. I don't know if it was at all at the beginning or even the middle, but I know at the end we had the choice of either complying or leaving.
Yeah.
And that was the moment where I think we had the choice to sell out. But that being said, knowing we were representing something bigger than ourselves, it did affect our behavior.
Yeah.
I don't think in a way that is disingenuous.
Yeah. And I think that was a big part of why I'm like, oh, where am I at? Why? But at the same time, being told what to say by, let's say, a multi-million-dollar corporation, they're going to pay us enough to not say it. I'm like, is there things in my life that if they tell me you're not going to talk about this subject, will I do it? Will I like?
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's say you get some kind of sales gig or something like that.
Yeah.
And or a management position in a company, and you're making good money, a good living, a real career for your family.
Yeah.
And you decide to start another motorcycle club. And they catch wind of it. They're like, no, you can't be involved in that world and still represent our company.
Oh,
you need to make a choice. What would you do in that case?
That's a weird one because, like, I know I'm late, but I got the gist of it.
Yeah.
Because like now you're talking about.
We didn't pause. We always say we're gonna pause, but we don't.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pause videos, so I'm just like.
No, I've heard enough episodes now. I know I have to go back and listen.
It's an empty promise.
But like,
I paused once.
In this scenario, you're like talking about giving up this hobby or the food on the table for your kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's not selling out. That's surviving.
Yeah.
You are giving that agency to another big entity that is telling you what to do.
Yeah. That's tough, I guess.
It is tough. It's complicated.
Yeah. But do you ever feel like there's some entities that are just pushing to see how far they can push? They're like, because like, can we ask him to do this? Because if we know we can ask him to do this, he'll do it. He'll do anything.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest fear. Is
that's just straight up manipulation. I think that fear is there for us was because we've experienced it very acutely.
Yeah, and like the principle of that is to feed your family, but at the same time, it's against all like.
But okay, if one band says, "Hey, we'd like to work with you, Kirk, but we want you to sacrifice, I don't know, something. We want you to." I don't want to say demonic music because if you don't believe in God, you don't care. You got to give me something.
It's hard to say because your tastes vary.
Yeah, your tastes vary so much. If I say, I'm like, hey, you have to release this album of babies being murdered. I don't know.
No,
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something.
Who do I talk to right now?
Okay, well, let's just ask you, and rather than trying to contrive a scenario, let's ask like. We've been trying to figure out what would it mean for us to sell out. What would it mean for you as a producer and a content creator and somebody trying to make your own music? What would it mean for you to sell out right now?
Me to sell out right now?
Yeah, or are you sellout proof? Because I mean, that I think that could be a thing. I think you can be in a position where you're immune to it.
Because I know you don't got. I know you don't got fuck you money, so.
No, but I'm also I'm not into it for the money either. Like, I'm the brokest I ever been, and I'm the happiest I ever been. You know,
Isn't that amazing?
Like,
that is freedom. Like that is free.
dude. And it's fucking weird too, because like, you know, like when you have money, like you like see something, it's like, oh, I'm gonna buy this, and I'm gonna get better at this by having this tool. But like when you're broke, it's like, oh, I can't afford that tool. How the fuck can I do that? Like you're forced to think.
That's why
I actually enjoy that struggle. It's fucked up.
That's why I ride a Honda. But what would sell out look like to you? Like, would it be producing an album that you're like, I hate everything. Like, they want you to put out a certain sound that you know is garbage, but they're gonna pay you for that garbage.
That's just a gig.
That is a gig. Yeah. It's not so. It's just an inconvenient.
I'm trying to think of something. That's all.
I know. I don't even know what it would mean
for myself as a drywaller. That's been like, oh wow, I really don't like the design of your house, but yeah, sure, I'll mud it. I'll make the walls smooth.
Right.
But I wouldn't live here. I mean, like that's what that seems like to me.
And I'm pretty sure you've seen houses like that where you're like, I would not have done this.
But I know dudes, like I've met dudes, man. It's like I've mentioned, like, oh, I'm gonna like work on this, like kind of like country stuff or a rock song or something. It's like, well, do you like that shit? It's like, I don't mind it. They're like, fuck that, man. If you're not like 100% into it, man, like don't even do it. Like, but it's like, to me, it's like if you're mixing, it's like you're still using all of the same tools.
And sometimes like it's exposing yourself to things that isn't necessarily your style can also help you improve, because like
traveling.
Different genres need different types of producing in order to make things sound good, so you can learn new skills. Like, man, that's 100%. Not selling out.
No, not at all. So like I think for me it's kind of hard to say what is selling out in that scenario.
You might actually be sellout proof right now. Not to say that wouldn't change, but right now I can't see a scenario in which it would be, as long as you're earnest and just being like, I'm trying to do things and explore and get better at shit.
Right. Maybe in a scenario where like the artist like is just terrible and
or he fucked you.
So you're like, am I wanting to contribute to this guy's, like, let's say like
you're
racist bullshit?
You're gonna work with Kanye,
like right? Yeah. Do I want
Kanye?
Yeah. Here's this album of slurs I wrote, and it's like, I don't want my name anywhere near that.
Wow, I didn't think you really felt that about Italian people. I haven't heard those slurs since the 50s.
Holy fuck.
you did a deep dive for this one. Oh my. Good job.
Yeah. But like, that's kind of the thing too, because you want to know when you're working with artists, like, okay, like what songs you got or whatever. Sometimes they don't have songs and they want your help.
Yeah.
But like you always get the lyrics and shit. You know, you always read it, like what's the story behind the songs and the album.
Yeah, but if it was a blatantly racist album,
but if it was, I would
blatantly.
You really, really hate women.
How much money would they have to pay you to put out a hyper racist album with them?
Yeah, how much debt do I got? No, no, okay. Dude. No, I don't think I would, man. Like, even if it was like a scenario where it was like, oh, but your name won't be on it at all or anything. It's like, that's
okay. So that's
like,
I'm not cool place in which your integrity is at stake.
Yeah, and not even that. It's just I think you're a fucking asshole if you're doing that shit. You know, like so that goes against my morals.
Yeah.
You know?
You could release racist shit like blatantly. You could be passively and be like, all right, maybe there's some nuance to this. But if you're like blatantly racist, I'm like, I can't put my name on this.
No, I wouldn't. And I tell you, you're a fucking cunt too. And yeah, then we can go from there. Yeah. But like, there's no money in that scenario where I'd be comfortable.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's the only scenario I can see right now.
Because you used to be poor, so you're like, why would I?
What the fuck am I gonna? Yeah, what can I lose? what am I gonna fucking lose, dude?
Yeah.
where the risk of losing everything by helping with this album or whatever could be far greater than the benefit that it could cause if it blows up. It's like, I don't care how much you blow up if my whole life is destroyed afterwards.
Yeah, man. You know what else is a weird thing for me? My beard. Like,
beard?
Somebody's like, you got to shave your beard. I'm like, let me go think about that. I got to think about this long and hard right now.
No, there we go. Yes. Because if you go to work for an oil company right now,
yeah, dude, you got to shave that shit.
Facial hair's got to go.
Yeah, I'm on the edge of that, and I'm like, is this selling out? This one guy came to me last year. He's earlier this year. He's like, "Are you married to the beard?" I'm like, "For the right price, I won't be."
Yeah.
And then he told me the price.
That's a weird thing because I was like,
he told me the price.
Yeah, I have this like weird connection
that
with
one.
Like, yeah, dude. But like for me too, like it's like my kids have never seen me without a beard either. You know.
Oh,
like
really?
how fucking weird. Yeah, never, man. I've had this thing.
Oh yeah, the last time I shaved
forever.
back was an infant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It was like when Amanda shaved her head.
Yeah. When Amanda shaved her head, I put my beard on the line to make some extra Bluey Day money.
Yeah, she was
because I had a whole lot of aunts that wanted to see it go. So I'm like, if you want to see it go, you got to bring them to Benjamin's. We're gonna help the Bluey Days.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Your wife would never let you do that again.
She was unimpressed with what was revealed.
Dude, yeah. Yeah. This is the man makeup, dude. It's legit.
Yes.
we don't have makeup. We have beards. If you're ugly, you're ugly.
Like
I don't so much have a chin line as much as it's like a gentle curve. So this makes it seem much more defined.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have 2 smiles.
Do you know
One very toothless.
Yeah.
Do you know what I really hate about the shaving of the beard for the oil field? The science. Respiratory systems are now all positive air.
pressure.
They're positive pressure. So the whole time that you're wearing a mask, you're under positive pressure. It doesn't rely on negative you breathing in order to give you oxygen.
Yeah, it's blowing at you, so all the air is going out. So I mean,
beard or no beard,
beard or no
fine.
beard, you're safe.
Yeah,
because like the sour gas, the H2S, can't go in because the pressure is pushing out. So like it doesn't really matter.
The beard doesn't matter, but the science hasn't caught up with the actual policies, and they're like, no, you got to shave. It's like, but fucking why? You haven't been because H2S is like, yes, but it's because of policies, and that's where my real conflict is with
why? Oh, because that's how we always done it.
It's the way it always is.
But that's
that's exactly it.
It's amazing. But that same policy with the army is what shaved our beardless society.
Yes.
Right? Like that was World War One with the mustard gas and stuff like that. Because I mean, they had to have tight seals on their masks for mustard gas.
Wow.
And it changed mustard glass. There we go. Sounds like a weird drug.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Lines of mustard glass here.
Have you done bath salts? No, man, I'm fucked on that mustard glass.
Breaking Bad too.
Yeah.
Mustard glass.
Yeah, so everybody came home from war after previously being very facial hair centric, and just everybody got used to this idea of young men being clean shaven and growing up doing that's part of the discipline. Well, that just changed the look of men because of a one policy for one purpose.
Yeah,
cutting off the ends of the corn for the pan.
Like, and I hate to think of it as like a discipline thing too. Like that's how it's looked at, but it's like, have you tried to maintain a fucking beard, dude?
Yeah, and look good.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, because you can screw up your beard really fast.
Dude, really bad, man.
Yeah. What kind of length you got on yours right now? Did you trim it or is it just?
I trimmed it a bit. I got it.
Yeah, like if you've got a shaped beard, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, like it's kind of shaped for sure. Like it's at that point now.
I let mine roam free.
Yeah, I did
dude,
for a while.
Just like my undergrowth. It's all wild.
You talking about your nuts?
Yes, indubitably. There is no manscaping happening here. I am like a woolly mammoth with nipples.
Even when he's not wearing a sweater, he's wearing a sweater.
He's wearing a sweater.
I'm not that hairy.
I am. I'm fucking disgusted to take my shirt off, dude. My back's so gross.
I got bros that are like that.
I go swimming. It looks like I'm got a trail of kelp behind me. That's how it feels. I don't think it's that bad, but it feels that way.
I guarantee you Dr. Squatch is going to reach out to us now, be like, we'll sponsor you if you'll manscape. Like, that'll be selling out.
That's a
Would that
soap
be selling
fucking
out?
company?
No, not at all.
Not at all. We'll get Manscapes on the line and be like,
and you'll see my very sack-like form all smooth on camera.
And so,
I'll start doing
our sponsor
Bert Kreischer style, no shirts.
Yeah. Brett Chrysler.
Oh, he is so funny. You heard they made a movie of his mafia story?
The Machine.
The Machine. They made a movie.
I haven't seen the trailer. I seen he like played it on the.
He played it on the Joe Rogan, but I don't know if they actually showed it because I didn't watch the video of it. Do you know what movie I'm
don't fucking play that. Like, I don't want to get sued.
Yeah. Do you know what movie I'm super excited for? We haven't talked about this on the podcast because it just never comes up. The movie I'm most excited for is Cocaine Bear.
That looks fucked.
It looks fucking awesome.
I can't wait.
It's not a remake. It's insane. It blends with what we do here. It's like, oh, let's talk about this rando subject, Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, like I haven't seen it, but I haven't watched the trailer because I seen like Cocaine Bear. I was like, oh, okay, this is just like Sharknado or something.
Yeah, it looks like shit. But you've seen the trailer, right?
I haven't watched it. No, I seen like it would like pop up and I just skip it.
No,
it looks bad and awesome.
Don't skip it. Watch the trailer. You'll
imagine,
won't regret it.
It's like a free Jaws on cocaine. It's fantastic.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's like Jaws. Yeah, Jaws on cocaine. That's not on water. It's just on land. So it just can fucking get you because he's a fucking bear on cocaine.
So I did the research, and this is based on, like, it's not a retelling of a true story, but it is actually inspired by a real event.
Really?
Yes. There is a legend in, was it Wisconsin?
Probably.
Called Pablo Escobar.
So how much fucking cocaine do you need to get a bear high?
Okay, so what happened in this whole thing was a guy involved in, I don't know what, not the mafia, but the cartel, was found dead on this farmer's driveway one morning in, like, I think it's the 60s or 70s, and with a parachute open. And so the guy went, looked, it's like, oh man, there's a guy in a suit with a parachute open, dead in my driveway, with pockets full of pockets in a backpack full of packs of cocaine. Like, he was like 40 pounds of cocaine on him.
Holy shit.
So he died because he opened his parachute too late at night when he was doing a drop. But he left a plane that was going down full of cocaine. And it crashed somewhere in the woods.
And the bear got at this plane.
Yeah, and all the cocaine fell out, and this bear got after it. So it was like 6 months later, these people found this bear dead, surrounded by 8 empty packages. So it ate, was like 8 or 9 whole packs, like whole bricks of cocaine. They found in its stomach. So it got totally high, ate it all, and then died.
Fuck, man.
But there's nothing entertaining about that. But they made an entire movie
about what would happen,
let's say the bear
okay,
lived.
Yeah. I can see this being funny now.
Yes.
The thing I love about the idea of it is the fact that there are so many remakes out right now that they're all shit. There's nothing good in theaters.
Dude,
it's
what the fuck is up with the superheroes,
shit,
man?
Your remake or your comic?
Yeah, remake, comic, and it's like I appreciate a good Iron Man. I appreciate the Marvels here, even though Multiverse of Madness is straight garbage.
I haven't seen them, dude.
Did not appreciate it. Did you see the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness?
I haven't had any drive.
Don't waste your fucking time.
I think
it was such a waste of time.
The last time I watched a Marvel movie, like on my own doing, was Iron Man 1. No, Iron Man 2.
Really?
Yeah,
so, like,
Iron Man 2.
Beginning.
Yeah, dude, Iron Man 2. And I was like, this is shit. The first one was pretty good, but this is shit.
Okay, yeah, the second one wasn't great, but third
and then like now, like my kids will watch like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
That's all right.
So you just got off that ride right at the beginning.
Dude, yeah, man, yeah. I jump out.
Good for you.
If I don't like something, man, I ain't fucking with it.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed a lot of them, but the Multiverse of Madness, the Doctor Strange one, it was just hot garbage. I'm like, why fucking bother? I didn't like it. It was a movie for its own sake. It wasn't a movie for the fans' sake. It wasn't based on anything really good. It was just
Okay, what makes a movie for its own sake? Like, what's your criteria other than knowing it when you see it?
it doesn't contribute to any kind of storyline other than itself. When you're making something that contributes to many storylines, like they did on a lot of the Marvel series, Iron Man led to everything else. Thor led to something bigger.
It's a shared storyline.
Yes.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Where this one just didn't matter. It hijacked a lot of stuff, and it's like, oh, we're just gonna have this short little storyline where everything is hijacked. Nothing is what you thought it was, even before the Age of Ultron, even before the Thanos stuff. It's like, oh, we're just gonna hijack all of this. This character who you've developed and has grown when it comes to what's her face, the witch, Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
They're going to take whatever development she's had and they're going to fucking throw that right out the window and make her the worst possible bad guy in the world. And it's just, I'm like, no, you just stole a bunch of things. And then at the end of it, it's like, no, she turns good again. It's like, why? No consequence at all. None of it mattered.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I don't like. Nothing mattered at the end of it. You're like, why did I waste 2 hours? Because nothing changed.
Yeah. So it's a movie with no risk.
Yeah.
Because I could say, if you took a character that was like a hero and actually made it a legit villain to continue on the arc, that's kind of fucking cool. That's a risk of doing something.
Yeah. No, I just felt like you can watch it and let me know what you think. But
I'll have to give it
hot garbage. I even told Amanda, I'm like, I've never regretted watching a Marvel movie. That was the one that I regret watching out of all the Marvel movies out there. And I have a very low bar for regret. Like, it takes quite a bit to disappoint me.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Not me, man. Not me. I'm like fucking I'm like, I'll get 10 minutes in. It's like, nah. It's bad. It's like, why am I going to waste my time with this? I'll just go read or something, you know? And it's
I can't do that.
Look, somebody who can read. Look at fancy man over there.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I get
what
these
do you think you're better than me?
Yeah, no.
Yes. If he can read and you can't, then yes, he's objectively better at something.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. See, you even acknowledges it. Thank you for standing up for yourself.
Yeah, that was hard.
And you're better
done that before. Yeah. I did watch the Punisher series though. I thought that was fucking
really
awesome.
I couldn't get into that. I tried.
Really?
Oh,
yeah, that
the
was
series on Netflix.
Yeah, with what's his name?
Joe Bernthal. He was a badass Punisher.
Dude, he was sick, dude. I enjoyed that. I binged that shit. I was so into it.
That was my favorite shit that Marvel did, was those Netflix series, like the Daredevil series, Punisher. I wasn't so much into Luke Cage, but the other one there with the girl,
Jessica Jones.
That one, that one.
Yeah,
I love that stuff. That was my favorite Marvel stuff.
Yeah, I got into that stuff. I was like, that's cool, man. Because I still I didn't watch the blockbuster movies, I guess you could say. Yeah. But when I seen the series and stuff, I was like, oh, I'll try this out. And yeah, Punisher really resonated with me. That was a cool one. It was just gritty and dark and pissed off. And at the time too, I was getting sober, so I was pissed off all the time too. I was like, fuck yeah, give it to him, boys. Yeah.
Okay, there's a whole
then I had to go see
rabbit
hole
we're going off.
Yeah. Then
let's go off on a rabbit hole.
All right.
Tell us about getting sober. What's that like?
Fucking tough, man.
Okay. I think we need to define which kind of sober we're talking about. Are we talking about the drugs or the alcohol, or both?
Both, dude. It was kind of, and from a social standpoint too, man. That was part of my fucking identity, and you realize when you sober up, all my buddies that I thought were my buddies aren't really my buddies. They were just people you partied with. We had nothing in common. We just partied and did crazy drugs and drank together and shit. There was no actual mutual thing there other than getting fucked up. And then you sober up, and it's weird too because it's almost like they think that like I think they're better than them or something. That's what bothers me, and like I don't, you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, we're all a couple steps away from that at any given moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's I don't know. It's just a weird. It's weird, man. You have all these relationships for years, and then it's just like, oh, okay. But like, it is what it is. I had to, you know. I had like people coming to me at work and shit, like, "Hey, man, just so you know, we were talking about in a meeting today, you know, like."
Oh wow, that's gotta suck to hear.
Dude, you know what? It doesn't. Because at least you know somebody was good enough to tell you
Okay,
and not let you
that's
go
fair.
down. Yeah, and I fucking love that guy for that. And yeah, great guy. But yeah, I'm glad he did that because that really lit a fire under my ass. Like I was selling all my guitars and shit, like, you know, just to get a fucking 8 ball a night, you know.
Yeah, I never quite understood how addicts could afford drugs. I can barely afford the shit that I do have.
Dude, it's fucked up,
and
man.
they're like,
If I had that money now, dude, holy shit.
Yeah,
But
I
like
know.
you're young and you don't really have that many bills. You're renting, you know, what do you got? A car and a phone payment.
Mhm.
Outside of rent, you're sharing rent with if at the time like roommates and shit, or if you got a girlfriend, you guys do whatever you do there for financial.
Yeah.
But like you have, especially when you move out, like, you know, you're in John, you make like 140 grand in a year or some shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's
You
not
know,
hard to
you're
make that
19,
here.
20 years old, making over 100K. Like,
In a
hello,
rough industry with a lot of characters that
with a
are
lot
yeah.
of characters, dude. Yeah, and it's like, you know, everyone did it. I'm so like, I was doing it before that, but
Yeah.
I definitely got more into it when I realized, like, oh, okay, this is like the
For
normal
for
thing.
an industry
Everyone,
that
ever
pushes
like, yeah.
drug tests, you're like, wow, there's a lot of drugs here.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, coke and shit's out of your system pretty quick. It's not like weed.
I know it's the most harmless of all of them. Is the one that everybody gets
Right?
popped for.
Yeah, dude, it's fucked up.
Yeah, I think if I was gonna get a job nowadays, they'd be like, "Hey, what's your weed policy?" Like, what? I'm like, has it kept up? What's your like?
Does it match the legality of the world right now?
Of the
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'm
Or are you back in 1996?
yeah, I'm not a guy who smokes a lot. I don't have very often, but if it's in my system, it's been there for a while, and I what are you coming from? It's like, oh, it's the same, and I'm like, you know, it's
Yeah,
legal, right?
yeah, man.
I'm, you just gotta trust people that they're not gonna do it on site and then hop in a company vehicle. And if you can't
And
trust the
that's
guy,
just
why are
it,
you
dude.
fucking
Yeah.
hiring him?
Meanwhile, boys getting fucking loaded.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah, they'll get drunk as a skunk and show up on site,
Yeah.
and I know because I was there.
Yeah,
And
man.
then
Yeah,
the one guy with
exactly.
weed, it's like, no, you're
What
getting
the
tested
fuck is
today.
wrong with you?
Yeah, yeah. Like he's done nothing to no one.
So
But yeah, it was definitely hard, man. Luckily, I was able to fucking, you know, I had to try something. So I kept hearing about jujitsu and shit. So I was like,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Jesus. I'm like, oh,
got your
wow,
hopes up just for a second.
interesting switch.
yeah,
Jiu-jitsu makes more sense.
yeah. No, people tried, dude. People were like, "Oh, you should come to the church, man." Shit, and it was like to me, it was like, you know, like I don't know, like I don't think I'm that guy, you know. I respect it. There's times I still think about it, you know, like, oh, maybe I should like go to church or something because I feel like I've
It would
done some
probably do
stupid
you
shit.
better now that you're sober than it would back then.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah,
coming to religion to solve your worldly issues,
it's
it ain't gonna help
a
you. It ain't
addiction.
gonna
It's
help you,
addiction
man.
transfer.
and
No, man.
it doesn't stick.
No.
No, dude. And so, like, yeah, and then I did that session of jujitsu. I remember it was like a Saturday morning because it was like, oh, it's the weekend. I'm getting fucked up, you know. So it's like,
Let me go try.
so that Friday night, like, I tried to quit a couple times, but I just couldn't. I watched Wolf of Wall Street, and every time I just relapse.
You're like, nope,
it's not a
I'm
yeah,
doing
dude.
what they're doing.
Yeah, it took me 7 times or some shit to watch Wolf of Wall Street without going and buying a gram of coke.
I could not believe that. Like the first time I watched that movie, like slapped me across the face straight out of the gate. It was like, okay, I could watch this movie, Leo DiCaprio movie about Wall Street and a little bit of excess. I didn't realize that like within like 30 seconds is showing him like snorting blow off of a hooker's asshole. I'm like, I was not prepared for where this is going.
Great movie, man. Great fucking movie.
I watched it once. I tried watching it a second time and I couldn't get through it. I'm like, I just the flair was gone. I'm like,
you're like, damn, I gotta go get Coke.
No, I didn't care for the movie the first time. I'm like, this is really interesting, huh? As an educational thing, but not like I just couldn't get through it a second time. I watched it once and I'm like, that's all. And I was like, oh,
Yeah,
it was
fair,
it
man.
was good the first time. I'm gonna watch it again. And I tried watching it. I'm like, nope, don't care.
Yeah, I do that with a lot
It blew
of shit,
its
man.
load.
Yeah.
It blew its load. And I'm like, I don't care.
That's funny. Yeah.
It's the best way I could put it.
I would agree. Like since then, I've come across clips of the movie and like YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
Like, funny bits with like what's his face, the fat guy.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
There's like funny bits like that. I'm like, that's funny. I tried watching the show again, just like you said. I couldn't make it through. I was like, no, there's nothing here for me.
How many times do you watch it?
I've seen that movie probably 20 times, man.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. When I like something, I like it.
Yeah. The old Boondock Saints.
What's your Boondock Saints? Is that your 20-time movie?
No.
What's your like this is my jam. Like I'll come back to this time and time again, baby.
Okay, I have kids, so it's very hard to have a jam. Documentaries, 20 Days Under the Sun, 21 Days Under the Sun.
I know.
Documentary was.
I love that one.
Just documentary. But when it comes to actual movies that I just thoroughly enjoy, Django Unchained. Just fucking gold.
I haven't seen it.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
Watch Django.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. I have to wait for like a moment where it's like, oh, this is what I need.
That's the thing.
Are you into Tarantino movies at all, or
yeah, I like Tarantino shit. Okay. Yeah,
you'll love this movie. It's so good. You'll watch it twice in a row. I did. I know that I did. I watched it, and then my father-in-law showed up, and I'm like, "Hey, have you seen this movie?" He's like, "Nope." I'm like, restarting it.
Yeah.
I didn't care that I just watched it. I did not care. It was that good.
Right.
I bought it on DVD. I bought it on Blu-ray. I made a VHS. And no, I didn't.
What the fuck?
You burned it from DVD to VHS.
Yeah,
that's the most retarded thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah, I really want to feel the vibe.
Old school. I really want to see the balance change where you have to like adjust the.
Yeah. Oh, let me just rewind this right now.
I got it in an antenna. I put out a little signal into the air, and I brought it right back into the TV.
I've never heard anybody say I miss rewinding VHS tapes. Right?
No.
Like people go back and they're like, like records were awesome. Vinyl was awesome. It sounded good. There's something special about putting the needle drop down.
It was great.
Yeah, nobody does that shit with cassette tapes or VHS tapes. We're like, no, fuck that stuff. Glad it's gone. Burn it in hell.
Yeah, dude.
Do you remember? Okay, was it? You're a little younger than I am. Do you remember wanting to hear a song? You really liked a song, so you like waited by the radio for it to come on to press record, so you record onto a tape and make your own mixtape. Did you do that?
No, I know people that did it.
I did that.
Yeah, like my uncle and shit would do it. And it's like, fuck, that's wild, dude.
Yeah, like I said, you're younger than I. Well, how old are you?
That's why people gave mixtapes as symbols of love, because that was a real labor of time and effort.
Yeah, no shit, yeah.
That meant something.
You have no idea how many times I heard Britney Spears in order to record this one song for you.
Yeah, because I tried not to get the radio announcer in between or the song transition at the same time.
Right. Like, oh, damn it, I missed it. No. God.
What about you, Devin?
Sweet Child of Mine halfway in.
Yeah.
What about me? Oh man.
For a movie.
I honestly don't think I have a 20-time movie.
No?
Mine's definitely not like I wouldn't go to Wolf of Wall Street every time. Like I've just probably seen it that many times.
Yeah.
What's your go-to? Like the one that like just rocks your world every time you watch it?
Probably Good Will Hunting or something.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Yeah, I like that shit. That was a good movie.
I wanted to say it was overrated because I hadn't actually given it the time of day, and then I watched it. I'm like, this is a good movie.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. Like,
What about The Town?
I don't watch movies that often, so I think that's a
me
big
neither.
thing. That's a big thing for me. Is like, I've maybe watched 3 or 4 movies in the last year.
Oh wow!
All around.
Heck, I watched The Town twice this year.
That was a
That's
good
just
movie.
the same movie.
Yeah, so I don't watch movies enough. So for me, it would be like 10 would be like the upper limit of.
Do you know which one of the Town is?
Yeah, I've seen it. I know
just
what
making
you're
sure.
talking
I'm making
about.
sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I got to give you a reference, and I'm like, it's a great movie.
I would say like one that I'm like perennial favorite. I'm like, bam, like I love that movie. And if it ever came on, I'd be like, okay, yep, I'm in for the ride. Would be Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, or Boondock Saints.
That was okay. Lord of the Rings, Twin Towers.
Yeah,
that was the worst of the in my opinion, worst of Lord of the Rings. I hated that one.
Really?
Yeah, it just bored me to tears. Mostly because the night that I watched it, somebody went flying through the back of my car.
What?
What?
Yeah,
All right, way back in the day, they had this thing
Story
called a
here.
rental store, and you would
Mhm.
go to the rental store to rent your videos.
Like
And I had
Blockbuster?
no, well, yes and no. It was
Movie
like
gallery?
Blockbuster, but it was out in Quebec back in the day. And I had just gotten my license like the day before, and I borrowed my mom's car to go pick up some movies with my friends. So we crammed as many people as we could into this tiny little 86 Toyota Corolla SR5 rear-wheel drive.
Yeah.
That's rare for anybody who doesn't know anything about cars. And my friend, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go wait in the car." I'm like, "Cool, here's the keys." So I gave her the keys, and she hops in the driver's seat, puts it in reverse, and my brother goes running out there just for fun, and he jumps to go land on the pillar of the hatchback, and my brother just flies through the back of the windshield, like destroys the whole window because it's a big flat window in the back.
Yeah.
And then the cops pull up right behind us. And I'm a new driver. I don't know anything. I'm like, whose car is this? I'm like, my parents. I'm in so much trouble. And say my car because I bought the car like shortly after that. Because, anyways, so this whole ordeal happens, and then we go to watch Lord of the Rings, and I was so annoyed that I was just doing commentary, making gay jokes the whole time because it was just that.
You were just
bored.
in a mood. You were
I was in a mood.
That's funny.
But Boondock Saints is your second one, so I'm like, well, that's
I don't know
quite
either because like I think of Two Towers and I think nostalgia of like going like traveling. I traveled 3 hours to see it in the theater because we didn't have a theater that had it.
You went to GP?
Damn.
Yeah, just to go watch it. It was like midnight, and we drove back that night. My buddy Friesen and I.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have this like nostalgic feeling of that night. It was a fun night.
Yeah.
You know, of traveling in the winter, like my own car, young kids, still high school, best buddy, going to watch a movie, like, you know, just it turned to be like a little adventure thing. So I have this like nostalgia of it. I don't come to think of it. I don't remember much about the movie itself as much as I'm remembering the nostalgia.
Yeah.
But Boondock Saints, like I feel like I can quote the thing forever.
Yeah.
That and National Lampoon's Family Christmas. Holy shit, that's the movie.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that one, and I don't get it.
Every damn year.
I don't get it.
Dude. But like, do Christmas movies count? Because like you do watch them every year.
You can watch
Like
Die
Home
Hard
Alone.
every
See,
year.
that one I watch every year because I want
Hell
to and I look forward to it and I have fun doing it.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand. National Lampoons, I don't get it. I've watched it and I'm like, okay, I don't understand why everyone is like, because you're hyped up about it, and okay, but I don't see it.
A lot of people are hyped up about
A lot of people. I know.
To me, it's like a gigantic episode of Seinfeld or something. Like it's like it's just, this random, you know, Christmas encapsulation of what it's like having family come over, having excitement for something, but it not quite living up to what you want it to be. Like random, weird idiot relatives.
Yeah.
Like one-liners that are like they shouldn't, you know, Christmas movies shouldn't have jokes about shoving a Christmas tree up Elaine from Seinfeld's ass, but
Yeah.
this one does, and that's
And
fucking awesome.
Also has cousin Eddie. He's holding out for a management position,
and just like the constant subtle, like maybe not subtle, the constant one-liners and the whole thing as it goes, it bears quoting all the time.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so that could be my 20-time movie.
Hell yeah, dude.
Would you watch it any time of the year? Does it have to be Christmas?
It doesn't have to be. I would technically watch it, in July if the mood struck me.
Well, there is one more movie that I thought of. Emperor's New Groove.
Interesting. That is one of my favorite Disney movies.
Disney movie, Emperor's New Groove, where
he
gets turned into a llama. Emperor Cusco.
Oh yeah,
getting turned into a llama.
That was a fucking great movie. I watched it. Okay, as a young adult, I actually went to my friend's place in Kingston, Ontario. We just drove there because there's nothing to do where I lived at the time, or it felt that way because just a kid with a car, so you just want to leave. Yeah, and we kind of went to my buddy's place, and we're like, "Hey, we're hanging out. What are we gonna do?" It's like, "Hey, let's watch a movie." And we went to the video store because that's what we did. Mm-hmm. All these kids with their fucking Netflix, and like, what are we gonna rent? And we were like walking around. I saw Emperor's New Groove. I'm like, this movie, and we're young adults. We're young adults, teenagers, and all these other guys like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, trust me, it'll be great. And halfway into the movie, they're like, this is the greatest movie ever. I'm like, I know. It's so good. Because you can watch it with your kids, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
I had to make sure our record light was on. I was like, we've had that happen.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, really? Recording. It made me so mad. We lost half an episode.
Yeah. There was an episode we did. We never released it because we didn't feel right about trying to like re-record what we did.
We'll get there.
Yeah, that sucks.
But it was a maybe hour and a half episode, but only 40 minutes of it recorded.
Yeah.
We were so
and choked. We had good fights. We had a fight on that one.
Yeah, we were legitimate, like arguing with one another.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That sucks that you lost it.
I know.
Yeah, I really do view that one as a jiu-jitsu episode of point, counterpoint, point, counterpoint, kind of constantly going back and forth. Yeah. And I really do feel there's so much to be had there. All right, we got two movies.
Yeah.
I want to get back to
I have a movie question. Another movie question. Have you ever unironically lived out a scene in a movie you love?
Unironically. Okay, I'm pretty sure you have, so I think you have to set the premise here.
Yeah,
because you can't ask questions like that, and we're like, no, not me.
Yeah.
All right. So I was
thinking this movie. No,
I was thinking about National Lampoon's Family Christmas. So
yeah,
the opening scene of the movie, apart from the little cartoon at the front, was them going to get a Christmas tree, right?
Yeah.
And finding this Christmas tree that looked gorgeous in the wild, and being like, "This is the one," and forgetting a saw to cut it down. And then seeing them taking it home, like dug up roots on their station wagon, putting it in their house, and like opening it up, and the boughs going everywhere. It's too tall for the building. Like just the tree is just too damn big. Their eyes were bigger than their stomach all around.
Yeah.
So
I'm starting to see where this is going. I think I was there for this.
Mm-hmm. No, you weren't.
No,
this happened in Lewiston. Now when we see my my wife's parents for Christmas.
I thought it was
so we went down to the States to go do Christmas with my wife's family, and the whole thought was there of like, why don't we go harvest a tree for the Christmas tree? We'll get a real wild one. And there's no trees in Lewiston. There's not a tree to be found. It's desert and canyons. But there's mountains in the distance and trees over there. So we took this big ass long drive on these gravel roads in winter up these 2,000-foot incline grades.
You literally
trying to find a tree for Christmas and walking around being like, none of these are good. And then seeing the one off in the distance, we're like, that's the tree. The whole family, brother-in-law, wife,
just glowing,
in-laws over there, wife, myself. My wife and myself, having watched National Lampoon several times, are laughing our asses at the whole comedy playing out because we're seeing where this is going.
Yeah.
My wife's family never watched the movie until after this day. We showed them.
I'll let you keep going.
Them that night. So we're sitting there, we're just laughing our asses to ourselves because like this is really happening. We're national lampooning, and we didn't contrive this situation. So we find the tree. Oh, it's 20 feet tall, and it's supposed to go in a living room.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, and yeah, Pat's like, this is the one. We're getting it. We're like, okay, all right. So we gotta like cut this thing down. Where's the chainsaw? I forgot the chainsaw. He's like looking in the back of his Suburban. It's like, we've got an axe.
No.
So there's a big ass tree that we're sitting down, literally trying to Paul Bunyan down. And then when it falls down, we're like, this is still way too big to even haul back home. So we're sitting there cutting off sections of it with an axe. Handle axe effort, switching. Okay, your turn. Okay, your turn. Finally get it back and put it in the living room. And the boughs from this thing stretch from end to end of the living room itself, wide, not just tall.
Awesome.
But of course, it looked amazing in the wild.
Yeah.
Beautiful in the forest. You put it in the house, you're like, wow, this is some Charlie Brown shit right here. Like I can see through the tree. There's like one bough and like a couple up there.
You see, this kind of hurts.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, this is great. And of course, like I'm loving it. This is my favorite Christmas tree in the history of time because I'm living my favorite movie. And it's all so fucking hilarious. So yeah, so that night I showed Pat National Lampoon's Family Vacation. Like, this is what we did. Off? I can't remember.
Or cry.
I'm sure I was laughing enough for the both of us. Still quoting everything before it comes.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what I'm doing tomorrow, right?
You're going tree harvesting.
I'm going fucking tree. I am. I told him about this earlier.
They don't.
I know that. That's my biggest worry. I'm gonna go out there and be like, "Yo, we'll grab this one," and we'll come back and like, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, honey, you know it's not gonna look good." My wife loves Christmas. We're going to be doing a Christmas episode here.
Hell yeah, dude!
Not the way you think.
What do you mean?
What
does that mean?
We're gonna call it the Santa dilemma.
So, in our motorcycle club, we all had road names. Mike's was the Grinch.
Yeah.
For a damn good reason.
Yeah. So I
so if you didn't have kids, you wouldn't celebrate Christmas.
No.
He would. He would just resent it.
I would just more resentfully. I have a hard time with it. The whole Santa dilemma of how much do you tell your kids about Santa?
Can't spoil that shit. Save it.
But this is
an actual episode that's coming up. X-Nate.
Yeah, I'm done. We won't talk about it more. How much do you lie to your kids? Piece of shit, parents.
Yeah, totally.
Oh man! Now, the whole time you were telling that story, I was trying to think of times that I actually lived out a movie, and I can't think of short of the Matrix, I can't think of it.
Yeah, dude, fucking right.
So I jumped off this building one time
when I realized the steak I was eating wasn't real.
Yeah,
but I like it anyway because ignorance is bliss.
I have been that high. But
am I real? Are you real? Is the steak real?
Is anything real at all? Are we living in a simulation?
Are you a brain in a vat, Mike?
Obviously not.
Vat brain.
No, I can't think of a single movie that I lived out unintentionally.
Maybe like that episode of like Curb Your Enthusiasm where like the lady thinks he has a boner, but it's just his pants folded over.
Oh yeah, but that's
like maybe something like that.
It's the pleats of the pants.
Yeah. Maybe something like that, but I can't think of nothing really.
Okay, what was it like to live out your favorite movie?
Hilarious.
Was it?
I mean, it would be different if it would be different if my favorite movie was Cocaine Bear and I was getting my entrails eaten. But being from a lovable comedy of family scenarios, it was fine. If my favorite movie was Wolf of Wall Street, it'd be like, man, this kind of neat watching my finances crumble and get indicted by FBI. That was neat.
So I was driving my Ferrari high on,
just like the movie.
Yeah, that would suck.
Driving a Lamborghini down the street, thinking that you're doing just fine. Not knowing
that scene is hilarious.
Yeah, dude, that was fucking wild.
Did you do any shit like that when you were high? Like think you were driving fine and like no. Statute of limitations. You got to think how many years it's been and how much shit you can get away with. If you have and you're not within outside of that, no, you never did that.
Yeah.
You got to think of timelines. We did. That's why we couldn't release one of our episodes, because the timelines were all ruined.
I don't know, like no. Not or no.
Nothing you can say.
No.
It's fine.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I did some shit and some things.
No, it wasn't like that or anything. It's just like
yeah. You got high and hung out and wasted a lot of your life.
Yeah, man.
There was no glory to it. Unlike that movie.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. Glory came after. But I still find myself like fighting like addictive personality traits.
Oh,
you know?
That's one of the reasons I avoided marijuana for a long time.
That shit's addictive too, man. I don't care what anybody says. Like,
well,
if I smoke weed for like a week and then I'm like just like cut it, I get grumpy and shit. You know, I'm on edge.
Well, that's the thing. Well, I was telling my wife, I'm like, I'm kind of hesitant towards even trying it because I was worried that if I like it, I'm going to like it a lot. If I like it a little, I'll like it a lot. You look at for myself. I got into hockey. Well, I made everything I did hockey. And then when I realized I sucked at hockey or I wasn't never going to be anything good at it, somebody's like, hey, you want to do jujitsu? I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's try that. I got into cage fighting. And then after that, I'm like, okay, I'll get my ass kicked. A natural progression into riding motorcycle.
Right.
And so when I got into riding motorcycle and we're like, start watching a little bit too much Sons. Sons of Anarchy.
That's funny. You're not the first person to say that.
Oh no, I know a lot of people that have said that. They won't admit to it. They won't.
No, a lot of people won't, man. Yeah.
Oh, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, we should start something, and it turned into now we're part of a 3-piece MC, and I was an all or nothing kind of person. So when it came to weed, I was very conscious of the possibility.
It's interesting that's your self perception of yourself. I'm sorry, away from my. It's interesting that's your self perception. So I look at you, I'm like, there's plenty of things that you're like, yeah, I like it, but it's okay.
Yeah,
I like it, but it's fine. Yeah.
Like there's now, but at the time, I went all the way to fighting in the cage. Most people don't do that. Video games.
That was my plan.
That was your plan?
That was my plan, dude. Fully.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about that, but that's just to get back to the weed, just really, really quick. I was really conscious of me even trying it. I'm like, I want to be careful. I want to make sure that I'm doing this right. This is something I don't want to get caught up in. And I do feel like I haven't gotten rolled out. Like it's not something that I'm like, oh, I gotta get weed. I'm like, no, I tried it a couple times and I'm like, oh yeah, if presented the opportunity, I'm fine. But at the same time, I can always go without. So I am lucky that way, but just because I think it's because I've become more aware of my biases or my tendency to go a little too far in some areas.
Interesting. Maybe that's just like
maybe it has to be. Maybe it's just always one area at a time. Right now it's podcasting, so I don't have time for weed.
Well, that was a weird thing too, because like I did jujitsu to sober up.
Yeah,
and I was probably a week or so into like being sober, and I was like, man, I gotta fucking like do something or I'm gonna like fall off the wagon, right? So I was like, well, maybe I'll just like smoke some weed or something, just to take the edge off or whatever, because I quit drinking, smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, and popping pills and doing coke all the same day.
That's a lot of things.
It was a heavy hit to me, man. I think it fucked me up worse than it just keep doing it,
Yeah.
But like I was like 6 or 7 days in probably, and I was like, man, I gotta like do something. Like I'm fucking going crazy here. So I picked up some weed, man, and I was feeling kind of guilty about it or whatever. But like then I realized like, oh, weed is like part of jiu-jitsu culture too, and some
Yeah.
aspect. I was like, I don't feel bad about this now at all. So
Yeah,
I was just like,
is that a
yeah,
thing?
Oh yeah.
yeah, dude, yeah. And I
Oh,
was just like,
Eddie
fuck yeah, I
Bravo.
even just fucking
Just
Eddie Bravo,
rolling
dude, fuck
jibbies
yeah,
and bodies.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
I would never want to roll in edibles. I would lose my shit.
I got like I would only go rolling if I was stoned, dude.
Really?
Yeah, I'd get home, man, from work, I'd smoke a fucking joint and I'd go to the fucking gym there and just
That's
train
that's
from like fucking
hilarious.
6:30 till 9:30 or whatever the fuck it was.
All right. I'm curious. What is the difference between smoking a joint and having a couple puffs off a joint? Like what
There's
is
a
the
big difference.
what is the difference between kind of feeling the weed or being stoned?
Yeah. Like puffer tea is fine, man. You're not.
Yeah.
I don't think that hurts anybody,
You're
man.
just
But
chill.
like if you're smoking like joints to your fucking brain, man, like you're
Yeah.
fucking blitz, man. You're cooking yourself.
Yeah, when you get
I don't
greened
care what
out, you're
anybody says.
just
I know people like they're like, oh, that's fucking tiny joints or whatever. It's like, man, you don't need much more than like a little tiny pinner, dude.
yeah. Yeah, I've seen guys get greened out where they're just like, I
Yeah,
can't
dude.
function.
Yeah.
I can't drive. I
Just
can't do
sick.
any of this. Oh, it looks like you gotta go take a piss. Oh no, he's just coughing. Okay, so I wanted to ask you about this jiu-jitsu. Are you still getting back into that?
No, man. My cousin, he lives here. He's a purple belt.
Really?
He wanted to get back into rolling and shit. But like I fucked my shoulder up pretty bad, man, when I was doing it.
Oh
Because I've
no.
had 14, 15 dislocations now.
Oh, okay, so it just goes easy now at this point.
Oh, dude, I think the last time I rolled, I was on top of a guy. Like I had side control and it just popped out. I was
Yeah.
like, oh fuck. Buddy's like, what's going on? I was like, my arm's out. He's like, I didn't do anything. I was like, I know, it just falls out, man.
Yeah, I did that to a guy one time. I was rolling, and yeah, I don't know what I did, but I got a hold of his arm weird, and I popped it out, and I felt horrible because I'm like,
Yeah, dude.
he was very good. He was a good kid. Him and I were well matched, and then all of a sudden I got a hold of his arm weird. I didn't even do anything, and all of a sudden his arm pops, and I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
And we were having a good roll, and so it really sucked. And I'm like, oh, did I do that? No, it was just.
Man. No, it's just how it is, dude.
Once your arm starts popping, it doesn't stop.
Yeah, my first day, I popped a dude's knee. I felt terrible.
Oh,
you know,
oh,
and I felt so bad, dude. And he was like, "No, man." He's like, "This happens. Like, it's not the first time." He's like, "It's been giving me issues for years."
yeah. I actually just started going back.
I
like
heard,
a couple
man,
months
that's
ago
pretty
there.
good.
So yeah, I was really happy because I'm doing okay.
Yeah,
I still
man.
get to teach a little bit here and there. It's not like I'm getting schooled around every corner. It's nice that I'm able to
Slow and steady, man.
get back in
That was
there.
my thing. I was like, I gotta go every night. I gotta get black belt in like 5-6 years. Like, let's go.
You just said,
You know,
I'm what
like
they
it's
call.
been done before. I can fucking do it. Let's go, man. You know, but I just pushed too hard, and then like, because like I gave up like doing music and shit too, because I was kind of like relating music to the whole party scene too, because like that was kind of the life I had. You know.
Yeah.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, like, like it's a real thing, dude.
That makes sense. When you have like a number of different things that all converge together, it's hard to separate the feelings that come along.
And so it was weird. So like once I had all the injuries, it was like I just had this like fucking existential crisis. I just broke down and was like, what the fuck am I
I can't do jiu-jitsu, I can't do drugs, I can't do what am I doing?
Like, what am I doing? And then I just sat down and just like thought about like, you know, I like played video games or some shit while I thought about this, like just mindless bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, and, that's the mindless of all mindless things. It's just video games. They're great and everything, but they don't take a whole lot of cognitive function.
No, man. Yeah, no, it like tells you what to do. You're good. You know, like no, I'm not problem solving anything today.
Yeah,
but yeah, and then I realized I like thought about it. It's like, well, like I've always been into music and shit. So like, what can I do there to like do something different?
Okay, so it's at that point that you started to get more into music again. It was just after like leaving it for a while, doing these other things, and then wondering like what the hell do I do?
Yeah, I left it for like 2 years, man.
So how did you wind up separating the feelings of that life from playing instruments?
I told myself I would invest in some studio gear, and I would help other people try to get their music into something. And I was like, okay, like if I can help other people do shit, that's a good trade. You know, work with people and whatnot. So I just wanted to do that.
Well, that's awesome. That would
And
it gives you something, right?
yeah, it gave me something to kind of look forward to. And at the same time, it was like, oh well, I can just like I had all these old ideas. I can record those to like get my foot in the door or something, you know. So it was kind of a win-win in every scenario that I looked at it.
Okay.
And it's been sweet ever since. Like I've learned a shit ton, you know. It's just one of those things that like you just never stop learning.
Oh yeah, I mean you could.
Yeah.
There's when it comes to music, there's always levels. There's always a new thing to explore.
Man, dude. It's like, oh, sick! I got these drums sounding good now. It's like, man, these vocals sound like shit. So then you go down this rabbit hole for like 3 months trying to figure out how you're gonna process vocals and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you take any kind of classes or schooling or anything like that? Because I know Devin, you did musical theory, but
No, I did.
no, sorry, literal theory. Why did I think it was something else?
No, I did choir for a semester.
Yes, sorry, I was misconstrue.
Yeah, I did like 6 weeks of vocal lessons that I took half-heartedly because that was one thing I could do for 2 credits.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't do
Who was I thinking of? Somebody else I know did musical theory.
I didn't do no like accredited schooling or anything like that. Like,
just kind of what you like and kind of what you just found what you could, or
I found this like this group online, URM Academy it was called. It was like the Unstoppable Recording Machine, and it was like all tailored towards like metal and shit. And I was like, fuck, that sounds pretty good. So like what it is, like what do you say?
I was just I've seen stuff like that come up lately. Like Zach Wild's got like Berserker Academy, where he's like,
yeah, the Riff Hard, yeah,
like Zach Wild.
Yeah, that's Riff Hard. So they're like a branch of that. That's like the guitar version of that, but like this was for like mixing, right?
Okay.
And I got into it, and I was like, and then because at the time I was like, I had like posted pictures of like what I had, and was like, oh, recording the song, like gonna be super cool, right? And then like after that, I had like people just writing me like, oh man, my band wants to record a song. Like, can we come and record with you? And it was like, oh shit, okay, yeah. So here I am, like, 2 weeks later, like recording drums for the first time. Never fucking done this before.
Yeah.
And like at the time, this group, they had like group chats on Facebook, and like they would have like 60, 80 members in this group or whatever, So
I've been in some of those group chats, not that one, but a group of 60 people. It just gets lost, man. I hate them.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Everybody was like, it wasn't just rambling bullshit. It was like, like somebody asked questions, somebody answered.
Yeah.
It would go on a little tangent, but not too much.
I'm glad to hear that. So some people, they always feel like they have to give their 2 cents on every single fucking conversation. It's like, maybe you shut the fuck up.
That's the thing that drives me crazy. Is like, you'll see these guys, they don't do anything but watch the shit. So they're not experimenting or anything. And then they'll like post in all this stuff and like try to give advice. It's like, oh, sick. You got examples of doing this? Oh, I've never done it, but I've seen a cool video and it seems to work. It's like, it could be like a one-time fucking scenario where that works, dude. Like,
yeah.
You don't even fucking know, dude. You're just blowing smoke.
Yeah.
That shit pisses me off. That's probably my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah, dude. Well,
so speaking of, you've got this Facebook group that you started called the Riff Locker. That
oh yeah.
So I mean, you've got people on there to share music, to collaborate. For whatever fucking reason, you put Mike and I on there.
Yeah.
Look at these fucktards. They're doing it wrong.
Yeah, okay. Like I added you guys, and I invited like a friend of mine who does like merch and shit. But it's like,
I like being on there and seeing stuff. I'm like, man, I don't know what to contribute.
I got
nothing. Fine, dude. That's fine. Like, the reason I add like you guys and other people who aren't like musicians, sometimes like you guys still have a creative outlet, and we are. And you might see something that you like.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, I really want to talk to that guy or chick.
Yeah.
Like, That's really cool.
Or at least somebody else could even see what we're doing and be like, "Hey, I like what you're doing." And I don't know,
Right.
maybe one day.
And that's all it is, man. And like I called it the riff locker, not because of like guitar.
Yeah.
It was just like, you know, your ideas.
Well, you're just
like,
riffing.
you're just riffing, man.
Yeah,
like, off each
I get
other.
it.
Like,
well,
kind of how my brain works. Like,
okay.
sparks
Well,
coming out of a fire.
maybe I should do more on there then. If that's your theme, then I feel like I can.
Yeah, because I kind of like I want to keep
Fuck
it like
the Jews. No, just kidding.
yeah, just edit
Just
that
riffing.
snip.
Go and just
Edit that snip.
Kanye.
Just
Yeah.
it's a joke. It's a joke. We're just riffing.
Not if it's edited, man. yeah.
Anyone who's listening to this knows it's a joke. I
Yeah,
love
dude.
everybody.
But yeah, like I've been wanting to change the name because it's called like Music Discussion and Tech Talk or whatever. And like it originally I had this idea of like getting people in who didn't know much about recording and stuff and just like helping them.
Okay. You
But,
know
like-
a little bit about sound and all that stuff. Okay. I gotta ask. I always ask people who are a little bit more in the know than I am. Sound wise for this podcast, how are we doing? I know we don't have the best microphones because we're still starting. I really don't
That's
see
fine, dude. That's fine. Like it's
but
you still,
audibly
everything's
we're
still
not
getting across fine.
yes, but audibly the sound is it I think we've created a very good space here. I think that we're not getting a whole lot of echo and just ridiculous amounts of
you got a
extra.
dead it sounds dead, man. It's good.
And
I think our only thing is having microphones that need us. Like it's hard to converse and then just feel the space because like I can move over here and it sounds different than when I'm over here, and
yeah,
that would be one thing where like from a technical aspect I know I need to get better at.
Yeah, and me, I have to push myself back. Like you see the muff, the what the fuck these things are called.
Yeah.
I have that to keep me away from the microphone.
Yeah, dude, that's fine.
Because
I have one too.
I crowd the mic. That's my problem is that I crowd the mic too much, and then I just get too loud. So I'm like, I need to force myself.
This fucking thing.
Fuck it. Going down on it.
I know. I would love one of those stands, like what you see in like those like really well produced YouTube podcasts, where like they could just grab it and move it anywhere to keep it in the right spot wherever they want to. Yeah, it makes no sound because like this one, I mean, like you touch it, it's like boom.
It just has so much sound travel.
Yeah, but that's like a gate thing though.
Yeah.
Like you can run a gate. Like if it's gated, you can set the threshold so like when it hits.
You see that the fucking gate? I don't know what that fucking means.
You just broke Mike's brain, and I'm like, hey, tell me what?
Yeah. So like with the gates in audio signal, like so you gate the threshold of the input that is being put into it.
Yeah.
Much. So like if it's like
interesting because like we're so technically illiterate, like we literally have a recorder.
No, man, if you don't know, you don't know though.
Yeah. We pipe our
I suck
audio.
at explaining things. Like I in my head, I get it. But then I have to like say it. I'm like, fuck.
All right. So what I hear you saying is we have low quality, high input mics that kind of carry as much sound as they can, but they're not isolating the sound that we need to.
We don't have the back end support there with
No, I think it's on the mic itself.
No, but what he's saying is like you can set sound dials, stuff like that, to reduce sounds of certain frequencies.
Yeah. So like if you have traffic, say you have traffic or wind.
Yeah.
You can use like a gate and
it'll filter out frequencies.
It won't pick that up until your voice comes in.
Okay.
Yeah. Like you would use it, say like for example, like drums. When you record drums, like you got a kick and a snare and shit.
Yeah.
So like you're hearing that kick in the snare track. But you can gate that so that only
okay.
So that you drop the threshold so like only the snare will pop through and that low sound of the kick isn't going to trigger the input.
Yeah. Okay. Now I hear what you're saying, because right now we have an issue with if I were to edit something. Let's say I used our bleep that we can use, which I don't use because I don't find it necessary.
It's just a sample button.
If I isolate it to my microphone because I'm the one who said the stupid shit, because often I am, it still is bouncing off this fucking wall right here and going into his microphone. So even though I isolate it here and I negative out my space, it's still coming in through his microphone.
Yeah. What?
So does that give
if you wanted to properly beep something, you would have to go to the software we use to upload the stuff to computer and insert a beep over that audio.
That's what I did
on both tracks.
On both tracks, but then it just sounds wrong.
So it would basically cut out what we're saying, replace it with a beep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it would come back in after the beep is done. Like you would have to edit that.
Yes.
And just dip the volume on the other track.
Yeah, that's what. Well, on this last one, a while ago, I did that where I isolated just my voice because I'm like, I don't want to isolate Devin because he's saying something else while I'm saying something stupid or editing or whatever I'm trying to do. I'm trying not to cut out all sound because I hate the sound of just all sound cutting and you just have that.
Oh yeah, you get that like artifact. It's like
yeah. So I'd rather.
I mean, that's what I listened for when you guys first started. I was like, oh, okay, I don't hear bad edits. So.
Yeah,
we don't edit.
We don't edit.
We don't. Like it is
everything.
Everything
you're
hear
saying
on the podcast goes straight into the recorder and uploads straight to the Podbean. Like that's it.
Yeah. Deadly,
that's why we didn't release some episodes because we're like, we can fucking release this. We can't edit. We can't edit enough.
Well, okay.
And
we've only not released two. We've only not released two. One was Travis's because there was no way to form a coherent conversation with how much we would have to redact.
It got bad. Like he was talking on this side of the microphone and yelling across the room, and you're just
or saying things that can get him and other people in trouble, or things
us
like
in
that.
jail, or him in jail. Like it's like nothing that we did.
We were not in danger. It was
all him.
We didn't release that podcast for his sake.
Yeah, and so
because he's a honey badger and he doesn't give a shit.
Does not give a fuck.
He's a free spirit, man. I love that guy.
He is 100%.
He called me last week. He's like, "You going to the liquor store?" Because I was coming out of the bank. It's next to the liquor store. I'm like, "No, I'm too poor. I bought one bottle of whiskey and I'm done for the year. Like that's it." I was like, "No, I'm just depositing some cash." And we just had a conversation. He's like, "We're gonna have a game night." I'm like, "Yeah, eventually, yes."
Yeah,
he's become a big softie now that he is a kid.
I know, like, kids change everything.
Kids do that to you, man. Yeah.
So yeah, there was that episode, and then there was the one where the recorder stopped picking things up half hour in. Like that. Those were the only
episodes we didn't release.
And it's not because we.
Again.
You gotta leak again?
Yeah, dude. I'm so sorry.
I
broke the seal.
What time is it?
What time? Yeah, what time is it there?
It's 1:10.
All right, you fucking go piss, and we'll wrap her up here when you go.
Good,
not
man.
right away. We're gonna wait for you.
Okay.
We'll pause it. We promise.
Okay, to justify the not pausing it on the last one is the fact that we continued a conversation that actually went quite well. I'm like, fuck, we don't need them for this. And so I was like, no, we're gonna continue this going, and whatever conversation comes afterwards, I'm okay with.
It really does seem like it works out better that way.
Yeah.
Trying to pause it when somebody goes to take a leak feels artificial.
Oh yeah.
Selling out.
Yeah.
It's selling out to pause it when people take a leak.
Yeah. You
100%.
You feel like you're trading some of your authenticity.
That's right. We're trading authenticity to save them the embarrassment of saying I have to go take a leak.
I have to go pee-pee.
In the potty.
Oh, the potty. How do you say pisser? Well,
Pissa.
Yeah, I do want to look into possibly if we are gonna if anyone wants to sponsor us out there, looking at the camera,
looking at you,
and you're a terrorist,
looking at us.
If you want to sponsor us, we would love to be sponsored by terrorism. Not because we support terrorism, because money out of your hands and into ours is better.
Well, what kind? Like the
eco-terrorists.
Eco-terrorists. Those are the kind of terrorists you want to sponsor.
I disrespect them the most, so I want their money.
Oh my gosh. Sponsored to you by the globalists.
Sorry. He comes back to the... I was just talking about getting sponsorship from eco-terrorists because I respect them the least. If a terrorist is going to sponsor us, I want their money because it's less that they can do.
Ah, that's pretty smart.
It's double-handed and really bad.
But you're also promoting it too. So is it really draining them?
This is brought to you by the people that bomb pipelines.
This is brought to you by PETA. Fuck your dog. or don't.
Yeah, please don't.
They do. They will kidnap dogs. PETA, look on their website. They will kidnap dogs and euthanize them. Fuck you guys.
What?
Fuck, I hate PETA. Yeah. They'll like, oh, you don't take good care of your pet because he's on a leash in your yard. So they'll kidnap your dog.
Take him to the pound.
They'll take him to the pound. And guess what fucking happens there? Get fucking euthanized. PETA is a shit organization. Don't like them.
Yeah, that's sad, man.
Because I like dogs. I do.
Yeah, they always have been a shit
Yeah, me too,
organization.
dude.
I like them over there because I don't have one. But I just don't like them as an organization. They're just garbage. I'm sorry, but don't like PETA. I like the idea. I like the idea is fine.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Economical treatment of animals. Do I want to eat them? Fuck yes, I want to eat it.
Love eating
like
animals.
moose?
And yeah.
What's the
Yeah,
weirdest animal you've eaten?
Yeah.
Or the weirdest part of an animal you've eaten?
Whoa. Well, it was alive or dead. What do you mean by eat?
Anyway, okay. Answer both questions. Weirdest animal you've eaten, weirdest part of an animal you've eaten.
Alligator. It's delicious. Weirdest part? I don't know because I don't ask.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Fucking, I don't know. What's the weirdest one for you? You're
You live in Newfoundland. That you weird shit.
Yeah.
You make out with cod. I'm pretty sure you could eat them.
Yeah. Man, they're like man, I don't know, like mussels and shit is weird, man, if you really
Right?
think about
Like
it.
crustaceans are weird things to fucking
Yeah,
eat.
dude.
It's like eating
Yeah.
a spider.
They're
Like
yeah,
a water
they're
spider. Like a
tiny
lobster.
ocean insects. I mean, sorry,
get this.
giant ocean insects.
Yeah.
You know lobsters, right?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
You know, like how when you like, I think it's when you
I feel
rip
like
the
we're
tail
gonna
off,
learn
you-
something here right
Yeah,
now.
you are. you know that like green like shit they have in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some people like jar that up and use it for like a bread spread. Here.
Oh man, like I get pissed off when I see remnants of that like in the tail flesh or something. I'm like, did this not get fucking cleaned? Who did this? Get them fired.
Yeah.
I just
yeah,
want
like I'll
white
like
meat and butter.
yeah, I'll like pull the tail and like rub it off or whatever, but it's like
I'm sorry, people they jar that?
They jar
yeah,
the
I've seen
bile.
people like
I don't know
yeah,
if it is bile, but it's,
it looks like it, dude.
What
What does
Yeah.
it taste like?
I don't know. I don't want to try.
Yeah, you
No.
do.
I just
You're
picture
from
it-
there. You should know from birth. Like that should be like
No, and man, I'll be honest with you. I didn't like lobster until I like moved back here this time.
Oh really?
Yeah, like all growing up, man, like I just couldn't stomach lobster. It's
Okay.
almost like too rich.
They charge an arm and a leg here for lobster. Is it like half decent price out there? Or are you like is it still have they jacked the price up thinking that oh look, everyone else says it's worth something? Or is it like you can go grab it in your backyard?
Yeah, like we have lobster fishermen here. And they like come in, they're like, oh yeah, like $10 a pound or whatever the fuck they sell it for. I don't think it's too expensive.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like in the summer,
The
like,
further
when
inland you
when
get, the more expensive it is. It's just
Sure,
harder to get
yeah,
fresh
but, like,
seafood.
yeah, but like you want it fresh, so like when people come in, like you'll like, and it's like all word of mouth. It's like, oh, so and so got lobsters for this much. So and so got it for this much. It's like, oh, sick. Well, let's go get fucking couple lobsters, you know?
Because that's something we did when we were in Newfoundland. We're like, we're gonna go fish and chips. Oh, we're gonna go for this. We're like, we're gonna
we
have
ate a lot of
mussels.
seafood.
Oh, so much seafood. It was
Hell
so
yeah,
good.
dude. That's what I
It's-
do too. Like since I've been back, it's like fuck, I'm gonna get codfish now while I can, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah.
codfish.
Yeah, like lobster is it's a luxury food. It's ubiquitous. Everybody loves it, but it's a weird fucking animal to
Oh
eat.
yeah.
Yeah,
You were
Yeah.
eating a sea spider.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a sea cockroach. I don't know.
Yeah, sea cockroach.
it's
A
like-
cockroach is a very good word.
It's like another thing. They look like snails too. They like cling to rocks. We call them wrinkles. I don't know what.
Wrinkles.
Yeah, I don't know what they're actually called.
Yeah, snails. They're weird. It's a
Yeah.
weird thing to eat.
Yeah, right.
I've never had a
But
snail.
yeah, there's like the sea
You're
snails. I
French.
don't-
How have you not? Oh, you're Canadian French.
Yeah,
You guys don't have
I
culture.
am not like.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
they have poutine though.
Yeah, we got
Oh.
poutine.
You've
Yeah,
got
they kinda
cheese
win.
and gravy and fried potatoes. Fine.
Yeah, we
dining.
classy like that.
Just
You know, I
chew-
live
just
like
got a bag of curds, just like
I used to live like
Just hear
15
the
minutes
we
Minutes
like the
away.
cheese.
yeah. You just hear like
La fromage.
I used to live 15 minutes away from the guy who created poutine before he died. Like he was alive when I lived there. Not like I left and you died.
Man, I was in Texas and I asked for a poutine. They looked at me like I was fucking dumb, dude.
Like, you got fries?
I was like,
you got
I was like,
gravy?
fries
you got
with cheese and gravy? She's
Fucking
like,
just...
what?
Why would you ask for poutine in Texas? I'm sorry.
Because I knew I couldn't.
I know my French listeners are gonna get mad, but they say poutine and it's poutine.
Not me.
Not you, not him. And for the sake of people understanding me, not me.
Here's the thing. Fuck you,
care.
Quebec.
No,
yeah, that's about it.
I think we have one listener there.
I'm not selling out to keep our Quebec fans. Fuck them.
When you say you have one listener there, can you see your
my algorithms?
The geography?
Yeah,
yes, we can.
And we have like next to no downloads in Newfoundland. I'm pretty sure it doesn't
probably
show
just
me streaming. It's probably just you, but they don't. It doesn't. It only shows downloads. It doesn't show streaming.
It doesn't show streams.
I don't think.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like, man, I know we got people in Newfoundland because I know you're there.
It only says like you have so and so many downloads. It doesn't tell us anything about streams. I don't know if it's counting streams as downloads or if it differentiates them or what.
But if you're listening and you're not using a VPN, because I know you are, obviously you keep mentioning it. You keep mentioning episodes. It's like, oh yeah, I remember you talking about this. Oh yeah, I remember you talking about... I'm like,
yeah, every now and then we'll get the random one from like Taiwan or Australia or like random places
so
where
many
like
in UK.
I don't know if that's from people using like VPNs that
could be, you don't know though,
that bounce around, or if it's legitimately somebody there stumbled across it. I have no idea.
So many
yeah, you'll never know.
Russia, we got UK, Russia, Norway, El Salvador, Ireland, like just randos in Australia.
And like always one or two. Like it's never like somebody who's like, oh, I'm looking at the backlog, or that you never see that download come again. So like, I'm pretty sure that's from somebody that's got a randomized VPN thing.
Yeah.
Lots
on the States. Not as many. Alberta and BC's are breadwinner there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like that's your people right now, right?
Well, that's the thing. Like Fort St.
John. That's where you're like, because like your biggest marketing is your word of mouth, and that's where your word of mouth is traveling right now.
Yeah.
Very fucking slowly, mind you.
Well,
you guys could ramp it up a bit. I'd appreciate it.
You do some crazy public fucking stunt.
Well, we're gonna do this fucking shit thing.
I think from now on we should, every one of our episodes should just be like, guess what Kanye West said.
and that is a way to sell out yourselves,
right?
Because
that is 100%.
Because who the fuck cares? You know,
nobody.
It's fucked up. We say nobody, but everybody
does.
Yeah.
Even the shit that he's doing now, I'm like, this is hilarious.
No,
and I could give two fucking shits what this guy's doing, but like I'll still find myself like coming home and looking at the old lady and being like, man, you see that shit Kanye did?
Right?
You know? And it's like in my head, it's like, why the fuck do I even care?
Yeah. But at another point, you're like, how does this guy make Alex Jones look sane?
Yeah. When Alex Jones is sitting in the seat, you're like, fucking shut up.
When you make Alex Jones look uncomfortable on his own show, like that's your sign.
I haven't seen that one yet, but I gotta watch that shit.
Oh, it's
hilarious.
Oh,
like it's at this point, it's like it's watching satire play out in real life.
All right, I think
this is legitimately the guy from the South Park Fish Sticks episode that has magically appeared in real life again.
Yes,
like there he is. This is the guy that can't get the fish stick stoked.
That's the guy. Okay, I'm quite sure I said this to you a week before everything went insane. I said to you, Kanye West would benefit from people not paying attention to him. The more you pay attention to him, the more crazy that he's going to get beat. And a week after I said that, he's fucking going insane, being on stupid shit, saying some crazy ass, I like Hitler. And that made me have to do some mental gymnastics. I went out of my way because I'm a good faith individual. And I'm like, okay, Hitler's bad. Hitler's very, very bad. Just going to say that Hitler's bad. Did he do anything good at all? Volkswagen? Volkswagen is a great
I don't
car.
know.
He carried them.
I had a Jetta, and it had a timing belt go, and it's an interference engine, and it blew the whole thing apart. So fuck Volkswagen.
Fuck Volkswagen. All right.
Why can't we make engines that aren't interference? Come on.
All right. The Autobahn. It's pretty good.
I've never been on it.
Was that him though, or was that someone else?
There's lots of traffic.
He pulled Germany out of a economic slum that they were put into because of their shit that they pulled in World War One.
That doesn't make you a good person.
Yes, I know. I realize that. But you can't say that he did everything wrong while simultaneously being like, say, he's a giant human piece of turd. He's shit. He's garbage. I wish he never existed.
I get what you're saying.
But
yeah.
He was a vegetarian.
What? Is that good?
No. No. I also saw him drink
good
water.
Good for me, because it's like, fuck yeah, more moose.
He drank water, so I'm going to contribute to never drinking water ever again.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Oh, sorry, but I had to do some mental gymnastics to like.
Dude,
I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
I did too. I was like, oh, does he have a point? No, he doesn't have a point.
And I'm like,
no.
When you have a hard time contributing anything good that the guy did, I'm like, I'm sorry, but maybe he's a giant human turd. Maybe you shouldn't give him any credit, even for being a vegetarian and caring even a little, or an artist.
I think where he went off the rails was just denying the Holocaust ever happened, and then being like, no, he didn't do anything bad. All he did was good stuff. Yes, 100%.
Straight up denied it.
Straight up 100% denied the Holocaust ever happened. He's like, this is fact. We know that that's a lie. And so all the negative things attributed to the Nazis are lies. Therefore, they were an amazing society.
They did so many things.
That's what he said.
That's no. And he needs to shut the fuck up. And people need to stop giving him attention, including, well, I don't want to say including us because we're doing it just
nobody cares what we say.
Nobody cares. We don't matter.
But this is the conversation in the cultural zeitgeist. So whatever, it's sanctioned.
Yes, that's what makes it sanctioned is the fact that, but we're also saying, you leave this guy alone. He is going through an episode right now. This guy needs less attention and to be, I don't know, have some friends, less yuppies around him. You got to get less yuppies. Yes, people that are going to be like, hey, man, you got a point there. It's like, man, you're fucking being stupid. You need friends to you tell me I'm stupid. I've heard you.
Yeah. Yeah, like you got to have those friends. Like they're not your friends if they're not.
You're a normal person, not a narcissist.
Yes.
Like
I listen when someone's saying, hey, Mike, you done fucked up.
Right? Like, yeah. Narcissists fundamentally think differently.
Yeah.
They will just go until they find the person that gives them the supply they want and live off it. Like once they get that level of notoriety, it's just a train that's off on its own energy.
Yeah.
You can't turn that off. You can't turn that train off.
Well, he's going broke doing it. He's going broke.
That will be the way. He will either burn himself up like a dying star, but you can't turn that energy off. He will find another way. He'll find another thing. He'll use that money to buy Rumble, which he did.
Yeah.
And use that as the
that's it. That was
goes down.
That's all he had. Like now's a good time to pull out a Rumble if you got any stocks in it. I'm like, ah.
Yeah, like so. I mean,
that's like somebody who believes in diversifying and having more than one thing. I'm like Kanye West buying that was the death of Rumble.
I know. I really
wanted
to get our stuff onto there. I was like, I think that's actually
I had an account. Yeah. I have an account on there
for the
blue collars, and I just never quite got around to posting anything on there because
like
annoying.
That actually probably would have done us well. It might even still do us well. I've heard a number of content creators say that even though their followings on Rumble are like less by a lot than their followings on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that, but their engagements are way, way, way higher.
Yeah.
And therefore, even though the passive people seeing it are way less, it's creating more fan base that's actually doing well for their platform. So like thinking about it, I'm like, oh, we should do Rumble. We should put our energy from Facebook into Rumble. Now I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know where the sucker's going.
Now's the time to do it. Strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah,
but we're classically behind the 8 ball.
But are they trying to like outdo YouTube? Is that their plan?
No, the plan is to give an alternative because YouTube is not allowing free speech.
Not Rumble, Parler.
No, I was talking about Rumble, not Parler.
So I was talking about Parler.
No, he didn't buy Parler. He bought Rumble. Rumble is like YouTube. Parler is like
okay. No, Parler. In that case, we should do Parler. Parler was the one I was talking about.
Okay, yeah.
And it probably naturally has more people that are our demographic on
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, lots of porn too.
Yeah.
I got
Sign
a
me up.
parlor. I got a,
Sign me up. Yeah.
Porn, you say?
Yeah.
I got-
yeah.
I got-
Hello.
Back to hentai and octopus penises.
Yeah.
it's just regular octopus. With that, yeah, I got a Rumble or a Tumblr account. Which one? The paid Parlor. I got a Parlor account, and I'm like, yeah, this is really gonna be great. And then I saw what was going on there. I'm like, I don't have time for this shit right now. I just didn't care
Dude,
enough.
I
to keep it up.
originally downloaded Twitter because I was like, oh, sick, they got fucking porn pics. Like 2011, I was like, hell yeah, this is sick. This is way better than Facebook.
The thing with Parlor is it's all about free speech, and the problem with free speech is everyone has a voice, and
Okay, so free speech is good until you see it happen.
until you have people practice
So
it, and you're
even
like,
you are
"Fuck."
like, oh no, this is too much free speech.
Yeah, but I think people should have to take an IQ test by alcohol and vote.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
To vote,
like,
you must own land.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but
We're
there's
going back
too
to
many
full patriarch
dumb people
times.
out there, and even the popular vote shouldn't count unless you are above like. But even then, a conservative vote is conservative vote, in spite of the fact of maybe they're not as educated, because educated people are very dumb, which is an odd thing to say. I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a conflicted individual when it comes to a lot of things.
I know when it comes to politics, I have no idea where you actually stand on so many things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's too many dumb people involved, including myself, and I'm like, that's why
Dude,
we don't do a political.
It's a wild rock and ride, that shit, man.
We don't do a political podcast because there's enough people out there
Yeah.
doing it, and it takes constant attention. And I don't care. I don't care enough. You want to listen to politics? One, Ben Shapiro's right there. The Young Turks are right there. Whoever the fuck you want that has nothing but time on their hands to do that shit, go listen to them. Don't
Yeah.
listen to me.
They have a team, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Want us to wax philosophical about random points of theology that nobody cares about? We're your podcast.
yeah.
All I say about politics is the
And
people...
curse while doing it, of course.
Yes, we drink. And the thing about politics
Does
is
Jesus really love you?
No.
Fuck you, but stupid question.
Stupid question.
The philosophers.
I think the biggest thing I can say about politics is the people who should be doing it are not doing it because it's not worth it, and the people that are doing it shouldn't be doing it.
Because they're narcissistic jagoffs.
Yeah,
it's
that's
power. It's like power hungry, man.
and it's
Did
like
you ever watch House of Cards?
I started
Yes.
it, and then I had a hard time with the
Yeah,
whole.
that shit. I was like, that's legit. I know that's
That it is legit. I know it's real, and I'm like, it's an uncomfortable truth, is what it
Yeah,
is.
man.
It's like, man, Washington's dirty, man. I got no time for that shit because of how dirty it is. You don't touch dirt and get clean.
No.
It's just so dirty. I
Wild
got friends that
shit,
were
man.
in politics, or I got a friend who was a city council in a different city. And I'm like, dude, the people who want to be on city council shouldn't, and the people who are on city council, or no, same thing I just said, where the people who are shouldn't be, and the people who should be aren't going near it. And he's like, hey, and I'm like, you quit.
Yeah.
You quit for a reason. Like, prove me wrong.
Not getting anywhere.
Yeah. He's like,
Well, fuck, man. Like, we just had like that Hurricane Fiona here a couple months ago,
yeah.
and like Trudeau like flew here and like checked it out for like disaster relief and stuff.
Oh,
They had,
yeah.
like the army and shit here too, right?
Wow.
So did
Yeah,
he
like,
do it in or out of
interesting.
blackface? Did he do it in blackface?
What the fuck, Mike?
Fuck that guy.
That's
But, like-
interesting because like we had wildfire after wildfire after wildfire here
Right,
for
right.
3 years straight.
Nothing.
but
and
wasn't near his house.
Got no federal support, let
Right.
alone a visit
That's
or an
fucked up.
acknowledgement of what's going on. Like that, it's so frustrating watching the difference in treatment from Ottawa to the east and to the west.
We should
Yeah,
separate.
it's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. Don't separate. We need the Canadian dollar.
All right, you were saying Justin Trudeau visited.
Yeah,
there
but like he
for
was here, and
disaster
like
relief.
I was driving past the town hall this day that he was here. In like there's like a city like 15 minutes from us. It's called like Port of Ass or whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, he was there, and like as I'm driving by, this dude drives past, and there's like all these like guards out by the door, and this guy's like, "You're a fucking prick." And I'm just like, yeah, that's the general consensus of like everyone here. I think this is why there's so much security. Like he was surrounded, right? But like it was just like it's just weird to see.
Yeah, but y'all are voting liberal.
No, man, I don't know where that's coming from. It's like
I don't know. Your
many.
votes are there.
Yeah, it shows red on the map, but like I don't know any.
It's just that's why.
But see, it's the same thing because the votes, a lot of the votes for those things concentrate in cities where population densities are.
Yeah,
right.
Like yeah,
because like a lot of people where I live go away to work. Like they're out on the rigs in the winter.
There's jobs,
they're sailing and shit. Like,
Yeah, I mean, even here in BC, like our BC ridings and stuff like that, they run a wash. We don't help anything, we don't hurt anything, because for all the fact that most of the province is conservative, there's highly dense population points that have lots of ridings that are very liberal, and they swing it. Like there's no way thing to look at it other than Vancouver and Victoria Island will always negate the rest of us.
Yeah,
even though they're a very small portion
is it called Victoria Island?
Yeah,
sorry, Vancouver Island.
Oh, okay. I was like, man,
Victoria's the city. Victoria's City, Vancouver Island.
Yeah. But I was like, fuck, have I been calling it Vancouver Island my whole life, and I'm just learning this now? It's like, oh fuck, I gotta question this shit.
No, I'm just a geographical idiot.
Misspeak, geographical misspeak.
And even Ontario, like most of the rural places, most of the province, geographically is very conservative. But where the population densities are, where the cities are, and stuff like that, that's just swings it the other way.
What? Okay, you were talking about somebody calling Trudeau a fucking prick. Yeah. Did you know in Fort St. John they have the fuck Trudeau stickers everywhere?
But that's here too. Yeah, they're here everywhere too, man. Yeah.
Okay. Did you know you can get a fine in Ottawa?
I heard that.
You can get a fucking I know people in Ottawa. I'm not going to say who because I don't need to out them like that. But you can get fined for revving your car for anything at all. It's become a tyrannical city of you can't do that here.
If you do anything Trudeau, that reminds the city of the
freedom
of the convoys, then
you beep your horn, you rev your motor, you do anything there, you get fined. The car scene's completely died because the government's suppressing it.
Muscle cars are a symbol of the freedom convoy now.
Yes. I have a friend who is in the car scene.
How crazy is this?
They can't do car meets.
Retarded.
I know somebody who is in the car scene
serious
there, and he can't do
China
it.
Shit.
It's because Trudeau's a fucking coward. He's a coward. He can't stand for any kind of opposition in his local area because you can't do that. It's like, why not?
Yeah.
Are we a free country or not?
Right.
Let us live. If you don't agree with us, maybe start acting in a way that we agree with. We voted for you for this reason. I didn't. But as a country, we voted for you because you'd make it a better place. Why is it getting worse? And if people are protesting, why aren't you doing something to make it better?
On that point, I think if I was to put myself in his shoes, I think the moment where that is true, where we voted for you for these reasons, we voted you for these values, why aren't you living up to that? That changed in the second election.
Yeah.
The second election, he's like, this is what I do. Everybody buys on or they don't. And they bought on because he's their guy, or voting for traditional reasons or whatever. But he saw that win in that election of, I need to keep doing what I was doing, but more.
Yeah.
And everybody who voted for him at that point co-signed on it. They know what they got and they voted again. So they co-signed for it. So no, everybody who did vote for him did vote for what he is.
Yeah.
Everybody who did vote for him did co-sign what we have now.
Yeah.
He's not off track that way. No. He's not off track.
With that, I got a really great little story. It was so funny. I have a buddy. I'm not going to drop names because he'll come on eventually.
We'll call him George.
So George has a son, and his son is like him, very patriotical, loves Canada. And
George Jr., Jojo.
So there's George and Jojo. And George had a dad. Let's call him Richard. He's a real King Richard. And
giant throbbing Richard.
Yeah, I was trying to find something, but
Richard voted for Trudeau, and so Richard came to visit George, and George was like, "Hey, just so you know, our kids are kind of politically inclined, so they know who you voted for." and JoJo would not stop ripping on Richard for voting. He's like, yeah, I'd listen to you, but you voted for Trudeau. And this kid, I'm talking like under 12, ripping on grandpa for voting for Trudeau. And then he went to George, and he's like, George, you got to you got to tell your kid to stop ripping on me for this. He's like, you voted for him. He wouldn't even back a step. And knowing him, knowing his kid, knowing his dad, I'm like, kudos. Fuck yeah. I'm sorry. He's like,
but like you're ingraining that into the kids now. It's like, oh, why do you vote for so and so? It's like, well, because that's who everyone votes. That's who my family votes for.
Yeah.
So like,
but there is a way to install conservative values, and there's a way to install liberal
there's
values.
also a way to disagree with people's political positions without being a dick.
Yeah.
Or teach them.
That's true. That is true, but it's really fun to watch. Yeah, but when your dad, I don't know, he can be informal in some ways, and he's not a traditional feller in any sense.
I at the very end of your story, I pieced together who you're actually talking about. So I'm imagining the drama playing out in my head, and it is hilarious. I could just see those guys being like that.
If you guys want us to have George on, let us know, because I would love to have George on.
But we'll never know.
Oh, you will. I'll let him tell the story. I'll let him retell the story.
Okay, that works.
He will tell that story, but it's not my story to tell, except for the fact that I changed all the names and likenesses. And yeah, it's great. I can't wait to have him on to talk about megalithic. What's the word?
Megalithic?
Megalithic structures.
Yeah, megalithic.
Megalithic. Yeah, megalithic structures.
Falafels. Falafelers.
Fuck yeah.
He started watching that Ancient Apocalypse, and he's like, "Oh,
dude, that's good shit, man." I'm like five episodes in, man. I'm loving that shit.
I was 2.5, 3 episodes, and I'm like, I just ran out of time, and I'm like, I haven't gotten back to it yet. That's all.
So, like, how do you guys view that being like religious and shit?
I'm not entirely sure. I haven't seen.
He hasn't watched it.
Oh, okay.
It's on my radar to get to. I struggle with the idea of looking at the past and being like everything's bullshit because the winners rewrote history.
Yeah,
that's an unfalsifiable claim.
Yeah, fair enough.
In a certain way, right? So I'm like, obviously history is more complex than this is all right and this is all wrong. So I struggle with them being like rewriting
any and all history,
big historical narratives, because it suits their need right now, and being able to just write it off as like, well, the Vatican or things like that.
And archaeologists will not believe it.
So that's one of those things where I struggle with certain things like that, although I have no context for any claim that show has made.
Right. It's pretty interesting.
If you're gonna ask me as a religious person, like, can you give me a specific example that you would like my take on?
No, not honestly. This guy is so far reaching in some areas where you're like, I don't even know the reference. That's not a point of reference. He's not taking on the pyramids of Egypt. He's not taking on the basic 9 wonders of the world of what is some of the
so what is he taking on then?
He is taking on giant pyramids that are not considered pyramids by most archaeologists in Mexico. He is taking on giant snake. What's that snake one called?
I can't remember.
There's this snake-like structure dug into the ground that points north or points at some other star and other shit. And so there are some things that in it you're like looking, and they're predating it to one area, and he's like, no, I think it's older, and they won't even let him on the grounds to explore it. Like, he is disregarding a lot of commonly held.
Okay, so this is one of those guys who, sees because in the last, say, I don't know, 8-10 years, especially with the Joe Rogan podcast, like, Rogan loves conspiracy theories about Egypt.
He had the guy on.
Like that, right?
He had him on.
Yeah.
So this guy will go around and make claims about Egypt or this or that, and it's really interesting. And guys like Rogan are like, oh, stoned, like, oh man, that's super cool. But there's no real reference point for how this fits.
So you're saying there's no there.
There may be, but it's hard to say with guys that aren't playing the game with integrity.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the problem is they're disregarding any kind of historical narrative with it. That's why I'm hesitant to buy into it, because they're like, okay, I know the history book says this, but I'm going to disregard everything our history book says and build my own narrative in order to push forward this idea that they were all wrong. And I don't like that. I don't think it's safe, while simultaneously being like, I don't want to assume that everyone always had it right. Like guys,
Right.
60, 70 years, because there's new technology out there that's able to do some virtual scanning into the ground that they couldn't do back then.
Mm-hmm.
They can see things that we can't see because of the technology of today. So I don't want to say that this guy's completely out to lunch, while simultaneously agreeing with everything that was before him.
Yeah. Like when it comes to stuff in the past, like I assume like as a religious person, people automatically think like, well, this must bug you because you think that the earth was created 6,000 years ago when God made, Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. So how does this stuff jive with you? And that's not me.
Well, that's what. Yeah. Like that's all I was asking. Like I know,
Oh,
like
okay.
there's like a beginning of some sort.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, like I look at the story in Genesis as a narrative mythos that is not rooted in any kind of historic thing, as much as it's like
literal history as opposed to figurative history.
Yeah, here's a mythology that God has given the people that explains who he is. It gives a general idea, it gives like a story of how humans interact with him and how we interact with each other and how we interact with our fallen nature. Because nobody there could know what happened at the beginning unless it was divinely revealed to you.
Right.
However, like, science has given us a lot of detail about how the physical world has played out and a lot of evidence for it. And I find it very compelling. So, like, to me, the Adam and Eve story isn't about the beginning of the universe, and it's not about how God made matter as much as it's about saying everything had to have some kind of beginning. And along the way came along this thing called people, thinking people that reflect God in a way that nothing else quite does. And yet we treat each other badly and we don't connect with God the way we should. How does that work? Like it's like a story that helps us understand that internal drama we all face.
Mm.
That would be how I deal with the narrative of say scientific facts that point to the world just being way older than you can trace back the lineage to Adam.
Okay.
Yeah. So were you assuming that we were creation literalists in a lot of ways, of this is what the Bible says, this is what we believe?
No, I just didn't know where you stood.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure.
Like I'm just ignorant to the fact. Like it's like
oh no, I get it, because there is a premise that a lot of literalists who, when they read the scripture, they say, hey, everything is literal, nothing is poetic, nothing is using any kind of creative poetic language. They're just saying, no, this is what the Bible says, so this is what it meant. And I also lean quite closer to a figurative poetic understanding of the early literature of Genesis. In many ways, while simultaneously believing that could God have created the world in 6 days? Because I am a Christian. If I believe in God, I have to say, yeah. Could God have done it in 6 literal days? Yes. Did he? I don't think so. Does it matter? No. It doesn't make a difference in my faith, because it doesn't. Is it going to affect the way I live my life here and now? No. I'm going to live the way that I live. I'm going to live like there is a God and go from there.
Yeah, to me, it matters a lot, actually.
Really? Yeah. It doesn't matter to me. I'm too far removed.
Yeah, it matters a lot. Like, if you're going to say that this is, like, if you're going to be somebody that says the Bible says the world was made 6,000 years ago, and we can tell that by tracing back person after person after person from a known date to that person, and that person was made in the garden, boom, that's it. If you're going to say that,
yes,
and the physical evidence
supersedes
in any way
like
supersedes it, then it's a lie.
Yeah.
That those things don't jive.
No. I don't believe that. I believe that you can draw that line from Adam. Let's say there is an Adam and there is an Eve. You can draw that line to say that they are the first it's a stretch. Maybe the first to some kind of enlightenment, but not as first to say that they did exist.
Do I think Adam and Eve existed? Possibly.
Yeah.
Do I think that they were created out of sand?
Literal, yeah, literal of the earth.
Like
Is that the claim?
I have. Pardon?
That's the claim. They came from sand.
God molded them.
God molded them from the material of the earth. Like God molded them from the dust of the ground.
Yeah.
That's Genesis 2.
Yeah. So
like if you're going to make claims like this and say this is what the Bible teaches, and if you're going to be a Christian, you have to believe that. That is setting up the whole faith for a fail.
That is an unprovable thing. Where is somebody making the claim that this is a salvation issue? If they say
plenty,
yes, and I think
so
they're
many.
wrong, and I think they're wrong. For me, it's not a salvation issue. It's not a reason
for you. However, plenty of people are going through crazy amounts of faith struggle because they're told that.
Yes,
and then given stuff that conflicts with it.
Yeah,
and then outright rejecting God entirely because of the false.
Yes.
Like, so they say to me,
and I'm saying that's bad.
It is a big deal. That is a bad thing. People are hurting because of it.
Yes.
Stop doing it. It's a big fucking deal.
I'm not saying it's not a big deal.
Yes, you did. You said it's not a big deal.
To me, it's not a big deal. To me, it's not, because my salvation doesn't lie in the creation story. I believe it is an open hand issue.
Wow, you're selfish.
I know. How's it going? No, I'm like, if you can look past that, if you can get a person to the point of talking to a guy like this, listen to this podcast to this point, and say,
right there, it is something that matters to you because you are trying to get people to think about it.
Yes, but at the same time,
do you want people to lose their faith because they lost confidence?
No.
See, big deal.
Yes.
Okay. To you personally.
I hear what you're saying. I do. I really do. And I hate that people are losing their faith and abandoning any kind of moral structure that they've built in their life over it. Because there are people that do it. They are people that jump to the extreme of, well, if this isn't true, none of it's fucking true, and
right?
Nothing
Exactly.
matters, and become
like
absolute
you can like, as somebody from the outside looking in, if somebody says to go to heaven when you die, or to be saved, to be a Christian because of this thing that Jesus did, like, this is the thing that's important for your faith. Oh, by the way, also this world was created 6,000 years ago, and like all this stuff you have to buy on.
Yeah,
at that point, you're like, okay, well, you're lying to me about that. Are you also lying about this?
But you're projecting. Projecting that people are saying you have to believe both.
They are.
There are.
I'm not projecting.
Not they. There are. There are individuals. There are. Not they are, because they implies everybody. There are implies that there are individuals doing it.
There are whole groups that make it part of their foundational beliefs.
Yes.
Signed like whole lists of it.
I hate to say it, but fuck those people.
But people are in it.
I know, and I feel horrible for them.
So
okay, now back to Kirk. Sorry, I had to define language.
I'm just over here like I'm over here watching this war unfold across the country, and I just started.
All right, what do you think so far? And this is not an uncommon thing. This discussion has not. This is nothing new.
No, yeah, like I get it, man.
So seeing somebody who now looking outside in, seeing this fight, hearing where I'm coming from, hearing where Devin knows there are people coming from,
right?
Yeah, there is a struggle, and I see why people look at Christians and say, you guys are fucking jokes, you guys can't even agree on your shit.
No, but you also have to think but it also, you're both part of the same thing. You just view it differently. That's fine.
Well, we're fighting together. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Where we use this analogy and we didn't get to use it, so I'm going to use it again. We used it in our Deserve episode that we never released.
Yeah, the one that stopped halfway through.
Devin and I we're doing jujitsu here. You're seeing me make a move and him make a move, and me make a move and him making a move, where we are driving towards the same goal together. We're both trying to make each other better in our discussion. Where when you're fighting with somebody in jiu-jitsu, are you fighting the individual or are you trying to get better? Especially with a training. Yeah.
So yeah, when Christians argue about this stuff, that is kind of what we're trying to do. Well, that's what some of us are trying
some of us are trying to do, yes.
But that's healthy though. You need that.
But there's some people who don't believe that. They're like, no, if you're wrong, I need to fight you on every single thing. It's like, then we're not on the same team. We're not on the same team. We're not in the same camp. If I'm in the same camp as you and you say you're in my camp, then I should be able to fight with you. And at the end of the day, we can agree to disagree, but we both should be better at the end of it. I hear where Devin's coming from, but I think we need to change the narrative and how we approach it. And I assume you think we need to do the same at some level too. We need to change.
Yeah, less fundamentalism.
Yeah. And so, but we're working towards this goal together. And that's where Christianity is like jiu-jitsu, where it's like, no, we're working towards a common goal of a deeper understanding of scripture. Even if we disagree in some areas, where I'm strong in one area, he's strong in another. And so I really love that.
I thought I was way better than you.
Fuck you. Yeah. So yeah, we get to have a lot of fun. I love this podcast. You
need it, man. You need that with friends, man.
Yeah.
No matter what, it's hard. Like when you don't have that, like you get fucking. How do you improve?
Well, you stagnate, right?
Yeah, man. You just linear.
Yeah. Oh. So yeah. I hope I had a lot of fun. I'm running. My voice is losing it, man.
Yeah, we should wrap it up.
I feel the tickle back here. I'm like,
oh, dude, I'm beat right now. It's like, yeah, it's 1:55 a.m.
Yeah, we need to let you go to bed.
Sorry about that.
Boom,
dude. It's all good, dude.
All right, I'm just gonna do a quick. We'll do our outro.
We should let him do the outro for himself because he wrote the music.
Do you want to do the outro?
You can plug your stuff and say you wrote our tune.
Man.
You can let me play the music and you can do the outro. It'll be great.
All right, I'll try it.
All right, let's see if this goes well.
Shit, just edit it.
All right.
We don't edit anything.
We don't edit.
Fuck,
You've one shot.
Yeah.
Pressure's on.
All right, God bless.
Don't be a dick.
All right, coming pretty soon.
I know, I wrote it. What's up, guys? Yeah, it's Kirk the Riffer Wells. Yeah, it was awesome being on this podcast. I'm coming from you from Liquid State Audio here. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
God bless.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Love you.
Love you too.
Love you, boys.